Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'll be walking you through the crypto markets. First things first, we're going to be starting off with the short term of Bitcoin, then the mid term of Bitcoin, and then the long term of Bitcoin. Once I've covered Bitcoin, I'm going to be doing some TA on some altcoins as well. So if you've got any requests for that, dump them in the chat now and I'll get to them once I have done Bitcoin. I'd just like to say at the start of my stream here, I hit 50 subs. Crazy level for me as I've only been streaming for literally like 2 weeks here. So thank you ever so much to everyone who's subscribed. Helps me out tremendously. And yeah, it's really nice to see that support. Without further ado, let's just get straight into Bitcoin. On the short term here, as discussed yesterday, we did have this downward sloping resistance line that we were looking to break, right? We were looking to break this, but we were seeing a lot of resistance to the downside from this, right? We were seeing a lot of resistance to the downside. But last night, while I was sleeping, we actually came up and we gave this a lovely test. We cleared all major moving averages, which is what we needed to on the short term here for Bitcoin. And we came up, we smashed through this downward sloping resistance line and we found a lovely level of support on it. We had the 10 simple coming up to support us as well, and then we tested that and had that insane surge of buying power to the upside, which basically pumped Bitcoin to an extreme level. Absolutely lovely indeed. So that basically means we smashed through this horizontal resistance point at 39.6. We smashed through this 200 moving average here. And at this point in time, let me bring up a little chart pattern right now. Let me bring up a little chart pattern. I can see basically a rising wedge that's formed here. Basically a rising wedge that's formed here. So this is something definitely to take into account while we're trading Bitcoin today. Because if we are going to get a break to the upside, we could be looking at some sort of measure move, right? We could be looking at some sort of measure move. Probably looking along the lines of this in terms of a non-greedy measure move. Obviously depending on where we're going to break. And that does basically correlate perfectly with the volume weighted ATR band. So there's definitely a trade position there, potential to think about on the short term, but we do need to think about these lower highs on this downtrend that we had here, because that is going to be crucial points for us to break. So if we are to break this rising wedge here, I can see us having a bit of sideways action, probably riding along the top side of this major trend line, the top side of this rising wedge here, before we can actually get that initial break to the upside. So in order for like an entry for this trade, I'd be looking to come up, potentially test this zone at around 41.6 here, and then probably get rejected, right? We're probably going to see a lot of downward selling power and a lot of resistance from this point. So I could potentially looking at a re-entry when we're coming down to test the top side of this falling wedge here. That's going to be the ideal scenario for this trade, and then we're basically going to ride. Right, well, basically everything I say is not financial advice. This is a trade that I could be taking, basically. But yeah, make your own opinions on your own trades, in my opinion, right? As you can see, it's going to be a nice 7, near enough 8% trade. If that trade is going to come off, that's going to look very, very nice indeed. It's definitely something to think about when trading Bitcoin on the short term here. But yeah, crucial points here. We do need to get over these lower highs on these big dominant downtrend that we had here, that massive panic sell-off that we had there, right? But yeah, in terms of a trade, that's what I'm looking at. If we're not looking like we're going to respect this, and that brings me on to if we're not going to respect the top side of this rising wedge here, it's looking like we are going to come back down. We are going to find a bit of resistance on that. And the reason why I'm saying that, if we jump to the midterm quickly, we are currently testing the 55 moving average here, right? We are currently testing the 55 moving average, and the 55, it usually finds a nice level of support or potentially some heavy resistance, right? Or potentially some heavy resistance. Look, we got rejected off the 55 here. We tested it, got rejected, came all the way down, smashing through the 200 and major levels of support here. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about if we aren't going to find support on this 55 moving average in the next 4 hours, well, the next 18 minutes, because that's when the 4-hour lead is going to end. So it's definitely something to consider, definitely something to watch for Bitcoin. Because if we don't respect it on this 4-hour time frame, we're likely to come down on the 1-hour time frame, right? On the short term, we're likely to come down and potentially test this level of support again at around 36. Sorry, we haven't tested it yet, but we broke through it in terms of resistance, right? We're likely to test the 39.6 zone again, and we do have this 200 moving average to think about as well. So potential bounce zone there to then potentially retest the top side of this rising wedge. But yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of potentially a long position, because obviously we do have a lot of support here to think about. As you can see here, if we go back in time on the short term quickly here, you can see we do have a lot of support to think about here on this 39.6 mark, right? But yeah, if we're going to break, that's what I'm going to be looking at in terms of a trade. If we can break that 41.6 zone, and then we'll be trading all the way up. But obviously, as I said before, onto the long term quickly here, we do have this bull market barrier. We do have this bull market barrier sat at around 43k, right? Sat around 43k on the lower side. In order to get past that, we're going to see some heavy resistance there, some insane heavy resistance, right? So in order for our trade, if we are going to enter a long trade on the short term here, we do need to take that into account, right? So that's basically an inkling that we're probably not going to get all the way up to this volume weighted ATR band, but for me, I'd probably be taking a nice bit of profit at around 43k, probably even 75% of my trade there, because this bull market barrier on the long term is going to cause an insane amount of resistance, right? That's pretty much the short term summed up, but as you can see on the RSI here, we are pretty near enough overbought, right? We're near enough overbought, and that basically indicates that we're going to see some sort of reversal in the price, right? Some sort of selling power to the downside, which is another indication, right, that we are going to lose this 55 potentially in the next 16 minutes. If we lose it in the next 16 minutes, then we are going to come down, as I said, and this RSI is basically backing up that theory. Bounce point for the RSI, we do have this downward sloping resistance line to think about in terms of finding a nice level of support there, in terms of buying power. So in terms of dumping down, we could potentially correlate perfectly with this if it's steep enough in terms of selling power, which could happen pretty imminently, right? Because obviously it's pretty volatile, as we know with Bitcoin, right? In terms of the MACD right now, for Bitcoin on the short term here, it's not looking too bad. We do have a higher high in this new trend cycle here to think about. We do need to think about at this point in time, we are in this uptrend. We have had that bullish crossover, so we could be looking at some sort of trend cycle looking like so. Could be stopping here, could be fizzling out. But as you can see here, it did fizzle out a minute ago, right? Well, not a minute ago, a few hours ago, right? It fizzled out a few hours ago. And then it basically came up, and that's when we saw this insane pump to the upside. So we could potentially be coming up to test this top side again of this rising wedge, and then we're going to break up from there. But as I said, be cautious around this 41.6 zone. If we are likely to see a bearish crossover happening, as you can see here, we do have this level of support down on the MACD here in this giant cycle, downtrend cycle, which we've been in for quite a while now. We are looking, as we did yesterday, right? As we did yesterday, it basically formed a perfect bounce point for the low of this trend, right? Perfect bounce point for the low of this trend. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, perfect bounce point for the low of this trend, regardless of this trend line, right? Because this trend line wasn't here then, so it was the perfect bounce point. So definitely something to think about if we do switch to a bear trend, a downtrend at this point, because we could be looking at a lovely little bounce point here. But it does indicate, right? It does indicate, because this is slanted, right? This is slanted, it's not horizontal, so it's looking like the trend, the downward swing is not going to be anywhere near as big as what we saw yesterday if we are to respect this support point, right? So it's definitely something to consider on the short term for Bitcoin in terms of the MACD, right? In terms of the trend, which is it's what we go on, right? It's what we go on, right? So let me get that trend line back in there for that rising wedge there, because that's the wrong thing for that rising. God, this mouse was playing up a lot yesterday. I'm gonna definitely need to fix that again. But guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? And also, guys, I stream every single morning, right? Every single morning, Monday to Friday for 1 to 2 hours. So if you want to be here with me every single day, Monday to Friday, press the subscribe button, notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? Straight to the midterm for Bitcoin. The midterm for Bitcoin, as discussed before, we did have this falling wedge, right? We did have this falling wedge pattern coming in here. And we were looking for that measure move to the upside, right? We were looking for that measure move to the upside. But if you guys were to get in this, like I did get into this trade and I took profit around here because we did see that insane point of resistance on the RSI at this point here, as discussed on yesterday's stream, right? I think it was around an 8% trade, not very bad at all, because we got on a re-entry. Yeah, very nice indeed. Near enough, well, just over 8%. Very, very nice indeed. If you would have stayed in this trade, right? If you'd have stayed in this trade and you would have been looking for the completion of this measure move, right? From that re-entry, I hate to say it, you'd have probably had a nice little stop out, probably near enough a stop out, right? If we can zoom in on that and get a nice direct price of where that wick to, yeah, you probably would have had a stop out if you were being pretty cautious and having that having your stop loss just below this trend line here. Very risky in my opinion, but yeah, you would have had a stop out, and they basically dumped the price to trick you, so you're not going to complete your measure move. And as you can see here, we did actually smash it to the upside now, and we are having that buying power to the upside, and it would have completed the measure move if your stop out was lower, right? If your stop loss was below the volume weighted ATR band here, you wouldn't have got stopped out, right? And you would have seen that completion of that measure move, and you would have seen a nice juicy like 9-10% there. Very nice indeed. I got 8%, so I'm happy with that. Never be annoyed about taking profit, right? Profit is always good. At this point in time, we are testing the 55 moving average right now. We're testing the 55 moving average, sitting at $40,408 for Bitcoin. As I said, it's pretty crucial in the next 12 minutes whether we hold this zone or not. If we hold this zone for Bitcoin, then it's likely we're going to find support, and then it's likely we've got a nice little potential trade on the short term for Bitcoin to think about, right, in terms of a measure move to the upside, right? But yeah, so it's crucial. Watch this in the next 10 to 11 minutes to see where we're going to go. If we're not going to find a nice level of support on it, if we don't get the candle close, the 4-hour close above it, we're likely to come back down. We're likely to test this 10 simple, and we've got this 21 MA coming through as well. So in likelihood terms, we're likely to probably find some resistance here. If we don't find a level of support in the next 11 minutes, come down, test these two moving averages that we've got going on here, and that'll basically bring the price down to 38 there. In terms of what's going on with the short term for Bitcoin right now, that basically indicates that we're going to come down and test the lower side of this rising wedge here, right? Test the lower side of this rising wedge, and also we do have this downward sloping resistance line to think about as well, because that could be a potential bounce point at around this 38 zone. Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider for Bitcoin, right? But if we are to find support, right? If we are to find support, the next target for me is this lower high that we had coming down, right? This lower high that we had coming down, definitely a target point, because if we can get above that, which is a 41.3, around that sort of mark, right? Around that sort of mark. If we can get above that, that's going to be absolutely ideal, right? Because then we can progress to the upside from there, and we could potentially see another move to the upside. Basically, our next target is going to be around 44.9. And that's going to be the previous lower high on that previous downtrend of dirtiness that we saw there, right? Hi, Ovo. I see my long was premature. Hammy is live too. Maybe not a good idea to stream at the same time as he tries to promote you, and his viewers can't be here and there. Basically, bro. So what's happening? I don't want to steal Hammy's viewers, right? I don't want to steal Hammy's viewers. I want to basically what Hammy does, I'm going to stream for obviously a little bit longer than he does. So he's going to shout me at the end of his stream, and then near enough towards the end of my stream, around 20 minutes left of my stream, some of his viewers will then come over to me. Like, I don't want to steal his viewers, right? Because they're obviously going to be loyal to him. I want to create my own. But obviously what I'm trying to do here is get the main target here is to get on the YouTube algorithm, because that's the hardest part of starting YouTube. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. But we are going to be streaming every morning at the same time, right? On the basis the internet connection holds out, right? But yeah, thanks for being here, bro. If you like the stream, helps me out tremendously. If you turn that thumbs up blue, right? But yeah, this is the midterm for Bitcoin right now. As I just said, crucial point. We need to break this 55 moving average on the within 9 minutes, right? So keep your eyes on that if you are trading Bitcoin right now, and that basically signifies we could be looking at a potential long to the upside. Target around 43, 44 there. Let's jump. Well, let's do a bit of the RSI on the midterm, right? As you can see here, we are at a crucial point. We are at a crucial point on the RSI in terms of this downward sloping resistance line. As you can see, we primarily have respected it for quite a while, right? Obviously, we do get those spillovers, right? We do get those spillovers, but at this point in time, we're primarily respecting it, and we did the other day, and that's exactly why I took my profit where I took my profit. Right now for the RSI, we're challenging it at this point in time, not really finding that much resistance, and we are going to see what's going to happen in the next 8 minutes, whether we are going to surge through and have that buying power to the upside and potentially have another spillover of overbought power of buying power to the upside, or we are going to see something along the lines of a swift rejection, right? If we are going to see a swift rejection potentially in the next 8 minutes or so. And look, we could close above the 55, right? We could close above the 55, but it's not like 100% that we're going up from there, right? It's not 100% going up from there, because we are going to potentially see a nice level of resistance at this lower high here. So it's likely we are to close above this 55 here, probably come all the way up to 41 potentially, and then potentially lose the 55 and then come down to around 38. So it's definitely something to consider, right? Because that would basically mean we're going to see another level of resistance on this downward sloping resistance line. So it's definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin at this time in terms of the midterm, right? He looks so much like Hamilton. Yeah, there's literally like 11 months between us, bro. Sorry, your name's Seven. I don't know if you're a male or female or a them in this day and age, right? At this point in time, we are seeing a nice higher high on the MACD here, a nice higher high on the MACD in terms of this trend cycle. As you can see, we do have a higher high at this point here, but that trend cycle has, in a sense, fizzled out, right? That's fizzled out, that's gone. So we're not going to take notice of that. Go away. We got this one here basically, right? So we're going off this one now. At this point in time, we did see it kind of fizzling out, right? We did see it kind of fizzling out on the midterm here, and that was basically this pullback that we had going on here. This pullback we had going on here, and then we had that bounce to the upside. Nice bounce of an uptrend here. And we're still going. So there's potential of us coming up, setting a higher high here, high of this next trend cycle that we're looking at on the MACD here, or we're likely to have a bearish crossover. I'd say we are looking to get up to around 41 here. We're looking to get up to around 41 and then see that swift rejection of this lower high here from that previous downtrend on the short term for Bitcoin. I can pretty much see that happening. Yeah, I can pretty much see that happening. And then we're going to have a bearish crossover on the MACD here. But definitely something to think about here, because we do have this trend cycle to the downside, right? This trend cycle to the downside could initiate a nice level of support. It could initiate a nice level of support, so we could see a pretty flaccid trend, right? A pretty flaccid trend to the downside, and then a pretty swift bullish crossover, and then a potential uptrend coming from there, right? Could basically mean on the short term here that we are going to basically fiddle around this sort of area for the day in terms of sideways action, because this is obviously crucial point to break here to basically confirm that we are going to continue up and we're not going straight down into the dirty abyss of a bear market. But yeah, crucial point to watch is that 41.6 zone, right? And that basically correlates with potentially with this MACD trend cycle that we've got going on here, right? If we aren't likely to respect this cycle, if we aren't likely to respect this trend line here, we're looking at potentially forming a new one, right? We're looking at potentially forming a new one, and that'll basically cause some sort of downward selling crazy trend going on here, right? And that'll basically mean we're going to lose the 55, we're going to come down, we're going to test the 21, and we are going to test the lower side of this rising wedge on the short term, right? Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider, especially if we're looking at a long position here, because we could see some sort of swift rejection coming in pretty quickly indeed, right? I'm just going to have some H2O, baby. Noobs are buying. Yes, they are, bro. Definitely a potential bull trap coming through here. But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. And guys, I stream every single day, right? I stream every single day. That bear threw me off there, right? I stream every single day. So guys, if you want to be here with me every single day, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never gonna miss one of my uploads or when I go live, right? But yeah, enough of that. Let's go to the long term for Bitcoin, right? And guys, if you've got any altcoin requests, dump them in the chat. I'm here. I'm at your service. I'm here. I'm at your service. I will do a little TA for you on those altcoins. Long term for Bitcoin, as discussed previously, right? Let me get rid of the waddy wad for now. We do have this insane bull market barrier which we are going off right now. This is the same bull market barrier which we're going off right now, and it basically indicates exactly where the bull market is and exactly where the bear market is, right? At this point in time, we have come down from the bull market here, created this uncertainty in the market, right? This uncertainty in the market, that's the wrong tool. This uncertainty in the market, and we have switched to this dirty red bear market that we've got going on here. At this point in time, we are coming up. We're looking like we're going to come up, setting these lower highs here, these higher lows here, continuously up to this 43k zone. So definite resistance point at this higher low. Sorry, definite resistance point at this 43k zone that we definitely need to think about, right? We are going to basically be challenging these lower highs here, and if we do get over these lower highs, the next point to think about on the long term here is that 43k zone. And yes, if we are going to be getting in a long here, it's definitely going to be affecting our trade. So we are going to need to manage this accordingly, because we are going to see a heavy point of resistance. We could even see some sort of swift rejection, right? Some big swift rejection, creating potentially some sort of pattern looking like so, right? It's potential, right? A lot of people are watching this 43k point. A lot of people potentially going to short this 43k point. It's all up in the air at this moment in time. But crucial point right now is to clear these previous lower highs here and create these higher lows continuously all the way up until we see a very nice V-shaped recovery, and then we reclaim the top side of this bull market barrier at 53k here. That's basically ideal. Basically ideal to clear this top side of this bull market barrier, to basically switch back to this bull market here, But let me let's throw it back in time, right? Let's throw it back in time to the last bull market, right? Let's throw it back in time to the last bull market. As you can see here, we did obviously this isn't the Bitstamp chart, it is the US Tether, so this is when Binance basically started their stuff here. So yeah, as you can see here, the bull market, we topped out at 19,600, right? And then we basically came down, right? We came down. And then we saw the uncertainty, the yellow uncertainty in the market, right, in terms of this indicator, right? The yellow uncertainty. We switched to red. We switched to yellow. We switched to red. We switched to yellow. That is basically what is going to happen now, in my opinion, right? I think we are going to come up, right? I think we are going to see something basically happen in history like it just did before. 80, not 86%, it's a lot more than that. I swear it was near 100% last time I checked. Definitely near 100% that retrace. Yeah, we'll go off this candle here, right? It's because I'm on the weekly time frame. I usually do it on the daily, right? As you can see here, we did retrace literally to the upside 96% before seeing that swift rejection to the downside yet again. So this is definitely something to consider at this point in time, because as you can see, look, we had that insane V-shaped recovery there. And let's jump back to live, right? Let's jump back to live. This here is basically what's happening. Is history repeating itself in terms of that swift recovery before that massive trap? But it's only 43%. So likelihood we are likely to come up, test the top side of this bull market barrier before seeing that swift rejection to the downside, if it is going to be one of those traps indeed. So it's definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin on the long term, right? In terms of the hash ribbons right now, we're getting there. We are getting there in terms of a position, right? We're getting it. These two lines here, we get a nice cross here. We're going to get a nice long signal. So that's a basic indication that we could be looking at a lot of potential buying power to the upside. And if we basically just need to clear these zones, right? We need to clear these zones and get through. If we can get through, then that bull market is going to continue, right? But obviously be wary of these zones at 43, 48, around just under 48 and 53 there for swift rejections. And these won't be slow rejections. Those will be insane volatile rejections, right? Definitely something to think about right now in terms of Bitcoin. In terms of a target, right, as I was saying, these lower highs here are literally definitely the target point here, right? These lower highs here are definitely the target point in terms of Bitcoin, and it basically correlates perfectly with this 200 moving average that we've got coming down here, right? So if we can get over that, find a nice level of support, as I said, the next target we're looking at is 43 there, but then we do have this 21 moving average come down as well, so we do need to think about finding a little bit of resistance off that as well. That's probably gonna correlate perfectly with this 43k zone as we come down. If that is to happen, we are going to see resistance there, right? We are going to see more resistance than if there was no moving average there. So we definitely need to take that into account. Maybe some consolidation between the 21 and the 200 there. The 200 here, 200 SMA and the 200, the 221 coming through here and potentially having some sort of sideways action there. Basically, just to calm down in the market, because obviously we have seen this insane validity right now. But yeah, in terms of higher lows at this point in time, we are just setting higher lows continuously, which is good in terms of a trend reversal. But yeah, at this point in time, it's looking good. We're setting higher highs on the top side. It's looking good. It's looking good. But as I said, crucial points at these 200 moving average here, and we do have these lower highs to think about, right? That's pretty much Bitcoin summed up, guys. Pretty much Bitcoin summed up. Let's jump to that live. We did just close that 4-hour candle above the 55, which is very interesting, right? It's very interesting because if we're likely to come down on this 4-hour probably in the next 20 minutes, come down around, test this 40,161 mark, likely to come down, test that zone, and potentially looking at a bounce up from there. So it's definitely something to look at, definitely something to think about, and reference the RSI here, because if we are going to come down on the 55 here and test the 55 and hopefully find a level of support there, we're going to be finding a nice level of support on this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. Definitely something to consider, because obviously we do have a potential long position to think about as well on the short term for the old Bitcoiny-woiny. But obviously we do have this this major trend on the top side of this rising wedge here. But yeah, I am done with Bitcoin for now. Bye-bye, Bitcoin. Bye-bye, oh, straight back to Bitcoin, right? I'm gonna do a bit of Ethereum, right? So we're gonna do a bit of Ethereum, and we'll see how we go from there. Ethereum at this point in time. Let's jump to the daily, right? Let's jump to the daily. We did obviously see these lower lows getting created for Ethereum because of obviously the Bitcoin dump and all that stuff, and the whole crypto crash that we had. Massive panic selling, a lot of FUD in the market, crazy stuff. But as you can see here, we are setting higher lows continuously. We're setting higher lows continuously on Ethereum on the daily chart here. So that's looking good in terms of a trend reversal. We have just had a lot of buying momentum to the upside, creating higher highs in terms of this trend. Very strong here, very strong in terms of reclaiming this volume weighted ATR band here for Ethereum on the daily, and smashing through the resistance that we were finding on this 55 moving average as well. Next target point, I'd say we do have this dominant trend line on Ethereum here to think about, right? This dominant trend line to think about, which is sat at around 3K, right? Around 3K for Ethereum. So in terms of a target price for that trend line, it would be around 3K. We're not likely to break through it, in my opinion, right away, because obviously we do have this insane amount of buying power, and we are going to need some correction from that, because it's not just going to go parabolic, right? It's not just going to go parabolic. We are going to need some insane correction from that, right? We are going to definitely need some insane correction from that. Potentially, obviously, we are on the daily here, potentially down to 2,900 around this mark, where we do have this price action channel coming through, and also the 21 moving average to think about as well, right? Just getting emails. Yeah, so we definitely need to think about the resistance, the correlation point here. Likelihood of a scenario playing out on the daily here. I can see us coming up, testing this 3K zone here, and then we've obviously got this volume weighted ATR band coming down here. And I can see us basically coming down, finding a nice level of support on that, and then coming up to the upside from there. Obviously, on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't absolutely fall off a cliff, and this whole price action thing that we got going on here is not just another. Well, it's not just another. It's just not just a crazy trap that everyone's falling for, right? But yeah, definitely a price target here of around 3K. On the daily here for Ethereum. At this point in time on the midterm for Ethereum, around the 4 hourly here, we have just smashed through that 55 moving average, and we have got these we found a nice level of support on this 2,600 zone. So if we are going to break down to the downside, that would be a nice level of support to think about in terms of a bounce to the upside. In terms of right now, this price action on this 200 moving average, we're yet to come up to test it, right? We're yet to come up to test it. If we're looking for a nice zone to actually hit, it's not too far away, right? It's $2,936 away. So that's definitely something to consider in terms of a nice tap. We're probably going to see some resistance from that, potentially coming down, testing the 55, and then potentially looking at a bounce from the 55, right? Potentially looking at a bounce from the 55. So definitely something to consider in terms of trading. Ethereum on the midterm, right? Yeah, Ethereum on the midterm here. If we are likely to get over this 200 here at around this 2,939 mark and find a nice level of support on it, as I said, on the long term for Ethereum there, our next target would be around that 3K mark, right? But that 200 moving average obviously correlates perfectly with the price action channel and this 21 moving average here. So pretty crucial point there for Ethereum right now. We do need to see, we are seeing some swift rejection right now for Ethereum. We are seeing a little bit of swift rejection. We didn't quite get there on this 200 moving average in terms of a test. But yeah, definitely a point to watch. If we can find support on it, we are looking at a nice little leg up from there. In terms of the RSI right now, obviously we do have this downward sloping resistance line to think about if we are going to dump to the downside. And as I said, we are potentially going to come down, test this 55 moving average that we've got going down here. It's likely that we're going to see some selling power, and we're going to see a bounce off this downward sloping resistance line, and we're going to find a nice level of support there as well. If we do see that, that's going to be ideal, because that means we're going to basically bounce perfectly off this 55 and have that continuation to the upside. Very, very nice stuff indeed. Looking very juicy for Ethereum, right? Very, very nice. Let's jump down to the 1 hour for Ethereum, see what's going on here. I don't know where these lines have come from, right? I don't know where they've come from. But yeah, obviously we do have this this downward sloping resistance line on the MACD here in terms of a trend. We are pretty much respecting it. We're pretty much respecting it in terms of this upswing that we've had here. And Ethereum is actually dumping right now. We are currently respecting it, and we are looking for a potential bearish crossover on the short term for Ethereum here. Definitely potential bearish crossover on the short term for Ethereum here. We are basically setting we got a lower low here, we got a lower high here, we got a lower high here, and then we've got a lower low in terms of a new trend, right? It basically looks like this trend, let me get more straight line, right? This trend looks like it's basically done, right? And then we've created a new trend cycle here. So at this point in time, we're looking at sort of a respect point for the next downtrend if we are to get that bearish crossover, right? If we are to get that bearish crossover, we're likely to see some sort of downtrend, not looking insanely mad, right? Not looking insanely mad, because we're looking at respecting this current cycle on the short term for Ethereum here. It could be horizontal, right? Don't count your chickens, because don't count your chickens because we could actually come down and test this horizontal point here on the old MACD for the Ethereum on the old short term, right? Let's jump to Bitcoin from Ivo in the chat. He's saying Bitcoin is testing the 40K. 100 zone. As I said, yeah, we are seeing that resistance, and that means we're losing. Well, no, we're testing the top side of the 55 moving average on the old midterm for Bitcoin here. So it's a pretty crucial point, right? A pretty crucial point. As I said, on the 4 hour, we are likely to come down and test this 55 before seeing a leg up. If we are to lose it, it means we're going to lose it. Jesus Christ. That's a massive bug, right? We are to lose this downward slope and resistance point on the RSI here and see some selling power to the downside. And that basically means that we are going to come down from there, right? Crucial point, we are going to probably find a nice level of support around this 39,500 zone. Definitely something to consider. And yes, Bitcoin is dumping right now. It's looking like we are going to lose this downwards slope and resistance line here for a Bitcoin. Definitely something to look at, definitely something to consider. And it basically means we are going to be seeing potentially a bounce off this support line at around 39.6. We're dumping off a cliff right now for Bitcoin. We nearly lost 40k there, and basically that's going to bring us down to 39,600 in terms of a bounce point, the next level of support that we are looking to find on the short term here. And if we are to lose that, we're likely to come down and test this downward slope and resistance line here. I mean, in my opinion right now, this rising wedge that we've got going on here, likely, I like the look of it, right? We're seeing nice, it's healthy, right? It's healthy. We've got touches either side, continuous. It's very nice, in my opinion, for confidence in terms of a measure move, right? For confidence in terms of a measure move to the upside or potentially the downside. Don't want it to be the downside. But yeah, it would be very nice indeed if we are, because obviously we have just had this touch to the upside here. I mean, I'm not afraid of a touch to the downside here. I'm not afraid for a touch to the downside, because at this point in time, we're still trending up for Bitcoin. We're still trending up. We're still seeing these high lows being created. As long as we don't create a lower low here, then I'm absolutely fine. We're absolutely fine before we see any sort of trend reversal looking something like that, right? So yeah. I'm up for a test to the downside. Seeing around 39k. That's absolutely fine. In terms of my opinion, I think it's still healthy for Bitcoin, right? It's still healthy for Bitcoin. Let's jump back to Ethereum right now. As I said, I pretty much summed up on Ethereum, right? And obviously Bitcoin is dumping the price and it's dumping Ethereum, right? Let's go back to Bitcoin. We're just about to lose the 40k mark. Are we going to do it? Oh, just going to have some water. Yeah, we did it. Lost it. And does that mean we lost the 55? Yes, it does mean we lost the 55 on the midterm here. And we're just seeing that dump. We're seeing that resistance from that 55 coming through. So yeah, it's definitely something to consider as a bounce point down here around this 200 and this level of support at around 39,600 that we've got going on here. Definitely something to really consider, and it's basically taking out the chances of us getting in any sort of long position today, because as I said, these lower highs here that we've got coming down from this downtrend, we need to break them. We're going to see insane resistance from them, and if we're seeing insane resistance right now, well, not insane resistance, but we are seeing resistance right now from this point, it's likely that we're going to come down, test this point here, potentially even test the lower side of this rising wedge here. And as I said, that means we're not going to break to the upside. We're not going to see that resistance, and then our entry point on the top side of this trend line of this rising wedge here in terms of a long position, right? So I basically kind of defeats the fact of our long today. Potentially we could get there, but we're going to need a lot of candles before we're even thinking about that long, right? A lot of candles, so probably 6-7 hours away potentially from there, right? So yeah, that's kind of Bitcoin done on the short term, right? That's Bitcoin done on the short term. Let me jump back to, let's do a bit of a Binance coin, here. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? Need to get on those YouTube algorithms, right? And guys, I do stream every single morning. And if you do want to be here with me every single morning from Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads. I also do altcoin videos. I also do emergency updates for altcoins and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that juicy stuff there for crypto. I basically just love crypto. So yeah, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button if you wanna be a part of my community, right? I will be starting a Discord soon because in terms of trading, ideally, once I'm finishing my stream, I'm obviously trading in the day, right? Day trader. So I want to be jumping on Discord and I want to be trading with you guys, right? I want to be trading with you guys live. Obviously, it's not going to be as presented as I am now, like streaming. I just be like, yeah, guys, look, I'm looking at ADA right now. What you guys thinking? And it's just going to be a community where we bounce off each other in terms of opinions of trading, right? And that's something that I'm going to be creating in the next few weeks or so. Just kind of trying to get the hang of streaming at the moment, right? Still pretty nervous, but yeah, just getting there, right? In terms of BNB right now, let's jump to the daily. It's the same. it's the same. As you can see, we have bounced off this 200 moving average chart here, continuously setting lower lows in terms of that insane selling power that we had to the downside, in terms of that panic sell, that crypto crash that we had there. But it's looking all right. We are setting those higher lows continuously all the way up. Our next level of support is sat at around 333 is the next level of support, which we have come down. We have bounced off on the daily chart here, and we're currently sitting around 368. So it's looking good in terms of buying power for BNB right now. But obviously, it's on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't fall off a cliff, and Bitcoin is falling off a cliff right now. Geez, it has actually done quite significantly, right? It's down at 39,874. So it's looking like we are going to come down and test this 39.6 zone there, as I was just saying, right? Back to BNB quickly. In terms of higher highs that we're setting from this trend, it's not looking bad. Obviously, there was a lot more buying strength in the last day that we had. And right now, we did come up. We did set a higher high. So it's a higher high at the end of the day. It doesn't mean the trend is over in terms of the trend to the upside that we've got going on here. Next target point in terms of a pump to the upside, obviously, we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming through here, which is very reliable in terms of a bounce point, in terms of resistance. But crucial point, as all the charts basically are, crucial point right now is this lower high that we set as we dump to the downside in terms of this crypto crash, right? These lower highs that we were setting, these are gonna cause a pretty significant amount of resistance here, and hopefully we can break through and set higher highs continuously on the way up. If we don't, and we start setting lower highs on the way down, and we see a bit of a trend reversal, bounce point, I would be looking around this level of support. I don't see us setting a lower low continuously from here, because that would be literally right down here, and that would be an insane reversal and basically confirm the massive trap that a lot of people are talking about, right? But yeah, target points, it would be these lower highs here in terms of resistance right now, and that is around 413. Next target point is around 438, right? Before we're even thinking about moving averages on the daily, right? Let me get rid of that. In terms of the midterm right now for BNB, it is looking like we are potentially looking at an inverted head and shoulders pattern going on here, right? Potential inverted head and shoulders pattern going on here. Something along the lines of this, right? And that could basically mean a continuation to the upside. Very nice indeed if we can play that out. Hopefully we can. But in order for that to happen, we are going to need a colossal dump to the downside here. And that could basically, it is going to dump the price in terms of percent, right? In terms of percent from where we are right now, it is going to dump the price around 17%, something like that. And that, I hate to say it, could cause some sort of panic sell and some sort of crash, which we saw is very easily achievable, right? It's very easily achievable in terms of all charts, right? Because we all know how crazy it all is at the moment and how volatile it can be. In terms of a target point for BNB right now, this is obviously the midterm. We do need to clear this 55 moving average, and then we're looking at a bounce point to the upside, and that would be the next target, I'd say, would be around 431 there. So if you are looking at a potential long position, obviously nothing I say is financial advice, but if you're looking at a potential long position, I'd be waiting clearly for us to clear this 55 moving average, and then having a take profit up around this point here. And stop loss potentially just below it there, but obviously wait on the predication, and we see that nice level of support to basically nice level of momentum and finding that support on the 55 to push us to the upside, right? And yeah, obviously we do have this price action channel here, which we're likely to, obviously we have just lost the 55, so we could potentially come down, test this price action channel and get a bounce from there. Likelihood, we are likely to do that because we usually do see two blue candles from the price action channel, and then we usually see a bounce, right? We usually see a bounce off the price action channel here, and then progression to the upside, right? Progression to the upside. Look, come up, bounce, progression, right? So that's basically what I think could potentially happen here. It's likelihood of this scenario happening. Still setting higher lows continuously. Not looking like any sort of trend reversal, right? Looking like any sort of trend reversal here, which is good. It's positive. It means we're going to continue in this uptrend that we've got going on here, and hopefully reclaiming that bull market point to the top side here. Very nice, very crucial point around 43,000 for Bitcoin there. Definitely something to consider. Bitcoin is, it's coming down to that test point there. I don't know if we quite got there, not quite getting there, but we did see 39,746. I do think we are going to see a nice, it's not nice, but 39,600 there, potentially even lower to this 10 moving average that we've got going on here at 39.3. But yeah, so Binance Coin right now, I couldn't speak then. Binance Coin right now, target price in terms of a bounce point is this price action channel at 39,349 there. 349 there, and then the next point, if we are to lose that price action channel, or we are to wick below it, we're looking to bounce from this 21 moving average at $336. Absolute low point. The absolute low point for me here is this volume weighted ATR band. As you can see, we do find a nice bounce from it. If we are to see a lower low in terms of this trend right now, in terms of beating this lower high low that we had here, if we are to see a lower low here, then we're looking at a bounce from there potentially, right? I don't see us losing this anytime soon. We could potentially come down, lose the 21 here, come down, bounce off this volume weighted ATR band, come up, test the 21, and create some sort of pattern looking along the lines of that, right? Yeah, potentially looking along the lines of that, something along the lines of that, right? Potentially ascending triangle, right? Definitely something to think about with BNB in terms of potential price action that could happen on the midterm here. And then your target points are around this point, right? 432 to the upside if we can clear this 55, and 337 to the downside. That's the 21 moving average, right? Let's move to any requests in the chat, guys, for any altcoins, guys. Hit me up. Altcoins, hit me up. I will do them. Little TA for you guys there. I'm going to do a bit of Dogecoin, right? I'm going to do a bit of Dogecoin here. I'm not the biggest fan of Doge in the world, but yeah, it is, in my opinion, it's pretty tradable. It's pretty tradable. I've made quite a bit of money trading Doge, not holding Doge, trading Doge, and just trading the chart patterns and that good stuff there, because it does usually respect them, right? It does usually respect them. Let's jump to the daily for Doge here. As you can see, we are seeing a trend reversal. These high lows getting created at this point in time. We have just cleared this 55 moving average. We are currently finding a nice level of support on there to the upside here. We're looking like we're testing this downward sloping resistance line on the midterm here that I've got created here. This midterm, we are looking at testing this downward sloping resistance line and hopefully finding a nice level of support. And if we can find a nice level of support in it, our next target point would be this 55 moving average at around 37 cents or potentially 38 cents. But we do have quite a lot. We do have quite a lot of momentum to the downside, a lot of resistance to get through here if we are looking at that surge and hitting that next horizontal level of resistance at 41 cents. All right, definitely something to think about when trading Doge. If we are to lose this downward sloping resistance line, I do see a potential bounce off this 21 moving average on the midterm for Doge here. Probably looking at maybe some sort of correlation along this trend line here. Yeah, definitely something to consider. Definitely something to consider. Absolute low, we do have this support level at around 28 cents, and we do have this volume weighted ATR band to consider as well. So if we are going to dump below that, we're going to see a test of this. Then it basically would give me a bit of an inkling that we are going to form some sort of descending triangle here. We're going to form some sort of descending triangle and potentially bounce off this point here very cleanly to the upside. And guys, it's Doge, right? It's Doge. If something crazy happens, like an Elon tweet or something like that, we know it could actually pump. We know if Elon's like, yeah, F Doge, I'm not gonna deal with Doge anymore, you know it's gonna dump, right? He can manipulate the price very goddamn easily, and a lot of people are hating on him right now for that, right? But yeah, in terms of chart patterns right now, we do have a potential descending triangle to think about if we are to lose this trend line. Price target, we're looking at around 28 cents there for Doge, and potential wick to this volume weighted ATR band at 27 cents. Pretty good accumulation point for Doge, but at this point in time, I just don't like holding Doge, right? I'm not a Doge guy. I'm not a Doge guy. But yeah, done with Doge. To the XRP. To the XRP. Let's jump to the daily for the XRP, right? As discussed previously, this insane symmetrical triangle, we were waiting for that to play out. We did see a pump to the upside. A lot of people thought we were breaking to the upside, and that tricked a lot of people out. I know a few people that got in their long positions here, and then they got absolutely shut out, right? They got absolutely shut out. They got absolutely done, and this crash caused a lot of liquidations in terms of leveraged positions here. And we just saw these lower lows get created, as we did see a lot of on the recent charts, right? On pretty much all the charts, right? Crypto in general, because Bitcoin fell off a cliff, and so did everything else. We did see that low point. The low point here is at around 0.64 cents, right? So 64 cents, and we have seen high lows continuously up from there. High lows continuously up from there, finding a nice level of support on this 200 moving average here, the SMA here, and we do have a nice big, it's a big rising wedge here. Big rising wedge, and we did actually close above it, right? We did actually close above it on the daily chart here, which shows we do have a nice level of support there in terms of if we are going to dump to the downside, if we are going to see crypto crash again, we could be looking at a potential bounce point on this trend line, right? Definitely something to consider if we are to see a reversal in the trend. A reversal in this trend at the moment. I can't quite see if that's a lower high being set there from the higher high. I think it might be actually. Yeah, on the daily here, I think it's just about a lower high being set there on the daily chart here. So that's potential for a trend reversal, right? Obviously, we are seeing that surge of buying power to the upside now. But in terms of all the altcoins right now, in terms of all the altcoins which I've been looking at, I'm bullish on XRP, I am, because they do have a really good use. Hi there, guys. Sent from Bitcoin Beats. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining my stream. But as I was saying, XRP here has just set a lower high on the daily time frame, so that could indicate a reversal in the trend. And basically, what I was saying, I'm still insanely bullish on XRP, just because they do actually have a really good use compared to a lot of other cryptos, right? They do have a really good use, massive international transfers. So in terms of what I think could happen for XRP, we are going to see surges to the upside, right? But absolute bottom, as I said, was around 0.83 cents here. Supporting from Hamilton. Thank you there, Dope Genie. Bravo. Yeah, thank you very much. Target point, if we are going to pump to the upside on the daily for XRP here, we are looking at a $1.17 to think about. In terms of the midterm for XRP here, we're looking at some sort of rising wedge pattern forming here. As you can see, we are looking at some sort of rising wedge pattern forming here. Let me get that on there. Yep, something along the lines of this, right? Definitely something to consider if we are looking at that break to the upside. We are currently testing this 55 moving average, right? We're currently testing this 55 moving average. If we can find a nice level of support on that and not the resistance which we're actually currently finding, we could be looking at a nice measure move to the upside in terms of a long position coming out of this rising wedge, right? The support level which we're currently testing is at around $1.02. As you can see here, we are scurrying around that point there. So we do need to find a nice level of support on there if we are looking at a break to the upside, right? We also do, if we are to lose this horizontal level of support, we do have the price action channel to think about as well, because we could get a nice little bounce from there as well. Definitely something to consider when trading XRP. If we are to lose these crucial points of support, I wouldn't be surprised if we came down and test the lower side of this rising wedge here before another continuation bounce to the upside. But yeah, main target point at the moment for me, right? If we jump down to the hourly, right? Main target point at the moment is to clear the top side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here. Yeah, to clear this top side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here. And in order for that to happen, we do need to find a nice level of support on that 200 and a nice level of support on that 55 there. And in terms of a measure move, for that trade that we are looking at, right, it is going to look something along the lines of this, right? Something along the lines of this. We go on the previous trend. It's pretty juicy indeed. Obviously, depending on where we're going to break along this along the top side of this rising wedge here, it all depends where we're going to break here. In terms of a percent for this trade that we're looking for, it's looking around a 14% trade, but obviously we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming through here, so that is a potential take profit point, because usually primarily we do respect that, right? We do find a lot of resistance from that line. Just here, as you can see here, pretty much proof of that. So I wouldn't be looking at a completion of a full measure move here. I would be looking at a potential bounce point to the downside, potential retrace. So if we're looking at a take profit point, if we're looking at percent for that take profit point, it would be looking at around a nice 10% trade. I mean, come on, guys, it's 10%. That's very juicy indeed. Obviously, on the predication that we clear this 200 moving average, we clear this major trend line that we've got going on for the rising wedge that we've got going on here. Definitely something to think about. But if we do lose it, the lowest point I can see us coming is testing the bottom side of this rising wedge here, and that is around 99.4. Correlating perfectly with the 21 moving average here, guys. Guys, if you've got any altcoins, smash them in the chat. If you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, guys, trying to get on these YouTube algorithms, right? Yeah, helps me out tremendously. And guys, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. I'm trying to get in an afternoon stream every day as well. And so, yeah, if you want to see more of my content, hit that subscribe button. Also, I do altcoin videos. I do emergency updates. Definitely something to consider. Hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? Let me have a look. BNB. Let me look at BNB for Dope Genie. BNB right now. Let me jump to the daily. As previously explained for BNB, as you can see, obviously it was the crypto dump here. We did see the low point of around 212 here. Continuously, we are setting those higher lows, right? We're setting those higher lows continuously. Level of support to think about here is at 333. That's what you need to invest in, because I am Plurat Duguri. Right, okay. Yeah, level of support here is at around 331. Definitely something to consider in terms of a low point. If we do see us get to that low point, it's not the end of the world, right? Because we're still setting those higher lows in terms of the daily, right? We're still setting those higher lows in terms of the daily. So it's looking like a potential bounce point here if we are to get there, right? That's pretty much the lowest point I can see BNB going right now. And I am pretty bullish on BNB in terms of what I think is going to happen in terms of the technology that they have. Obviously, the higher highs of this trend are continuously being set. So I'll be watching on the daily. If we can break even higher than this 387 point that we've got here, we are looking pretty good in terms of the open for the day. In terms of percent for how much we're pumping today, it's looking pretty good. At this point in time, we're looking at a 9% gain for BNB. Very nice indeed in terms of price. In terms of the 4-hourly right now for BNB, we're looking at testing this 55 moving average here. We did close above it, right? We did close above it, but then we have lost it and we have found some sort of resistance from there. We have bounced off the outer channel of the price action channel here. We have bounced to the upside from there. So in terms of what I'd ideally like to see here is let's find a nice level of support on this 55 moving average and then see progression to the upside here. And our next target would be 431 to think about, right? If we aren't, obviously we have lost this 55 moving average here. We could potentially see a bounce at around 351 here on this price action channel, or at this 21 moving average at 338. Definitely prices to consider there. Absolute low, what I can see here is this volume weighted ATR band, and that is 295. But obviously we do see some sort of bounce point from there, right? I'm just going to have some H2O. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. In terms of the cycle, right, for Plurat Dugurti, don't know if I'm saying it right. In terms of the cycle, for me, it's crucial point for Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin can see us climb over this 43K mark, then we're looking at basically reclaiming the bull market barrier, reclaiming the bull market, and going to the upside and continuing this juicy gains that we've been making all year, right? These juicy gains we've been making all year. At this point in time, it does look pretty trappy because we are setting these higher lows, and it just seems a bit too obvious, right? It seems a bit too obvious, these higher lows coming through on all the charts, right? It's giving everyone insane buying power. It's giving everyone insane buying power, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that in the price action. Look, we're seeing that in price action. Look, we're seeing stuff pump literally silly percents over the course of a few days, right? It's literally just insane gains, right? So it is, in my opinion, it's some sort of indication that we are potentially looking at a reversal here. We're looking at a reversal, but crucial point on all the charts right now is this lower high point for me. If we can break this lower high point, especially for Bitcoin here, at around, this is what the target is for the day, right? Target for the day is to get over this 200 moving average on the long term, test this lower high point. If we can find a nice level of support there, at this point here, we are looking at a progression to the upside, right? We're looking at progression to the upside if we can find a level of support. If we don't find a level of support there, I can see resistance basically pushing us down, right? Pushing us down, potentially fizzling out, potentially going sideways, potentially creating lower highs continuously down, and then can see us continuing down from there. If I jump back to the previous bull trend, right? If I jump back to the previous bull trend, it jumps to weekly quickly. The previous bull trend that we've got going on here, right? As you can see, we did lose this bull market barrier, right? We did lose this bull market barrier, and this is kind of my reasoning for what I've just said, right? We did lose this bull market barrier, which basically signified that, well, jump me straight back to the live price, right? Yeah, so we did lose this bull market barrier here. And we did see that uncertainty in the market when we did see that change, when it changed to yellow, right? As you can see here, we did lose it. We came down, right? We came all the way down, and then we saw that bounce, which is what we're seeing here, which is what we're seeing now, right? All these high lows being created all the way up, basically giving us that insane confidence in the market, giving everyone that insane confidence in the market, and basically seeing that surge to the upside before switching and then colossally pushing us down, right? If you think about it, in a bear market, we're not just gonna absolutely dump off a cliff, right? We're not gonna deep sea dive there. We're literally gonna be like, it's going to be trickling down, trapping all the people out. So if we are going to see some sort of scenario like this coming up, reclaiming the bull market barrier, seeing that uncertainty on the bull market barrier, seeing it turn yellow, I can see it happening. Pretty obvious here. And for that to happen, we are going to need to break that 43K mark. And I think the next target is around 48, and that's the central point of the bull market barrier. But as you can see here, we did retrace. Literally near enough 100%, right? Near enough 100% for Bitcoin, which is just absolutely insane. If you're looking at 100% for Bitcoin at this point in time, it's just ridiculous, right? We are actually going to clear the bull market barrier and potentially looking at new all-time highs, right? So not new all-time highs from the absolute low here, because that would be around 60K in terms of 100%. So we could even be looking at 100% coming up here around this point here, and then seeing some sort of swift rejection from there, and that would be like an ultimate trap, right? An ultimate trap, and it would sting a lot of people. So in terms of whale activity, that could potentially happen, right? Definitely something to consider, right? But in terms of target prices right now for Bitcoin, crucial point at 43, crucial point for these lower highs at 42 to continue this trend going up. Definitely things to watch in the price action here. And the next point of the bull market barrier is at 48 there. Definitely something to think about, right? I will subscribe and so you get updated when you go live. Oh, thank you very much, man. Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, trying to get on those YouTube algorithms. Turn that thumbs up blue. Guys, I do stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. So if you do want to... if you do want a notification when I go live, hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and we can trade together every single day, right? Trade together every single day. So that is, I think I summed up BNB there, right? Absolute high point, we got 432 there for Binance Coin. That's basically the target points for me right now for the day. Ideally, we do obviously have this lower high to get over, and that is sitting at around 414. If we can get over that, find a nice level of support there, we are going to see a nice test of potentially this $430 zone there. Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider for BNB, right? Let me jump to ADA because that is doing extremely well today in terms of buying power. You can see we've smashed all these major moving averages, right? The 200 SMA, we've got the price action channel here, we've got the 55 going on here, and we're currently at the crucial point, right? We're currently near enough at this crucial point to test these lower highs in terms of that crash, right? As I said before, if we're going to be clearing this sort of zone here, we're going to be looking very juicy, very bullish indeed. If we find a nice level of support, and then the next target is all the way up to $2.30. Very, very bullish on ADA, and I will be for probably 10 years, right? I will be for probably 10 years. We do have a nice head and shoulders pattern coming in here. Well, inverted head and shoulders pattern coming in here. So that basically means a continuation of the trend to the upside, right? Very nice indeed. But as I said, crucial point at this 1.85 mark. Are you planning to do a $1 to 100K challenge like Hamilton is? I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually thought about it. Like, it is my it's my second week, or probably a week and a half into streaming, right? So I'm at this point in time just trying to work on getting my point across in a clearly spoken way, because speaking on camera is it's pretty crazy. I never really thought how hard it would be, but yeah, actually doing it is pretty nerve-wracking and stuff like that. So I'm trying to kind of master that for now, and then I'm going to be bringing in some other stuff like that, so maybe some challenges. But the thing that is on my mind, obviously I'm a day trader. I trade every day, but I want to open up a Discord, right? I want to have a Discord live chat for everyone who wants to trade together, and then we have a community bouncing off each other all day long, trading together, trade ideas. It's going to be really good. That's kind of my sort of initial target at this point in time for the community that I'm trying to create. But also, I am trying to get on these YouTube algos as well, and it's pretty hard, right? I spent like a week streaming to no one, right? But yeah, so it's all about confidence building at this point in time for me, and getting my point across in terms of trading. But yeah, I'm gonna be jumping on to DOT at this point in time. Literally, all the charts literally just look the same. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I want to see something different. But yeah, as you can see here on DOT, we do have this rising wedge that was here. Pretty much looks like a channel, but it is pretty much forming like that, right? Potential channel if you like that, right? But I like to go for more touch points on trend lines, right? So as you can see here, we did see that colossal dump to the downside of this insane crypto crash. Obviously, you guys know all about that, right? We are creating higher lows continuously, right? We're creating higher lows continuously, and we're testing this 200 moving average. In terms of a surge to the upside for DOT right now, I would like to see us break this $24.45 zone. That would basically be ideal. And Bitcoin's back at 40K and 300. So we did see near enough a bounce off this level of support here at 39.6, 39.7 point. Very nice indeed. As I said at the start of my stream here, we are looking for a potential long position if we can get over these lower highs of the previous trend for Bitcoin, right? That would be ideal. Long position up to this volume weighted ATR, but in terms of percent for that, obviously we're going to go on the retest. Potentially, we're probably going to consolidate around this area if we don't find enough level of resistance here. We are going to be looking at something looking like around a 5% trade for the old Bitcoin as well. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. Do your own research, do your own research, do your own TA. But this is sort of a trade that I'm going to be looking at potentially taking today. If we can see enough buying power to the upside, and also referencing the RSI here. Oh, and it's gone. And it's gone. Yeah, referencing the RSI here. If we can, obviously we are going to be looking pretty overbought pretty shortly, and that is basically going to see, that's where we're going to see the rejection of this point here, of these lower highs of that massive trend there. So it's definitely something to consider. If we do see a lot of downward selling power from there, that's got the potential to push us up as well. And that's the point where we will be getting in that long, but obviously managing the buying power on the RS side there as well. Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider. And also on the MACD, on the short term for Bitcoin, I will get back to DOT in a second, right? I just got off a tangent on Bitcoin, right? Yeah, so as you can see here, if we are going to flip to the bearish crossover on the MACD here, the trend isn't going to be that big, right? It's not going to be that big because we do have this this level of support here, which we have been respecting for quite a while. And that's basically where I plotted out yesterday's bottom, right, for that trend, because obviously we did hit this point here. So that was a great position to think about. I was crucially watching this. If we were to break this trend line to the downside, we could have basically lost it and started a new trend cycle there on the MACD, but we didn't. And we did actually progress to the upside from there, and we did see the bullish crossover, and that's basically what we're in now, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old Bitcoin. Back to DOT for now. I like the trades of the day in the description with the percentages. Yeah, sweet, bro. They're not quite percentages. That's basically, well, they are percentages, of course. So every day in my description, I do like a brief description on the market itself. I do a brief description on the market itself, and then I basically pick 3 altcoins, which I think are potentially going to do well for the day. Or there is some potential trades there. So yeah, so the 3 altcoins I picked yesterday, I think it was VET, Ethereum Classic, and Rune, and they've actually, I did a little thing on them today, and VET, as you can see here on VET, we have pumped significantly. We went up around 19% since I said, and Rune, we went up 5% since I said as well. So definitely ones to think about. And then basically on the following day, I will then do a review. I've only literally just started this, literally one day. But yeah, after that, I will literally do, literally do a review on the percentages that they've gone up, to give you guys a little update on there. But I like to do a three altcoins to watch for the day. Just something I'm kind of adding to the stream, a little bit more content in a sense, right? Oh, goodness me. Lovely, lovely H2O there. Back to DOT, right? Back to DOT after that tangent off on Bitcoin. Let's get to the, yes, D, I'll do Stellar any second, right? Any second. Just give me like 2 minutes and I'll do that for you. At this point in time, for DOT, we do need to get over this 200 moving average here, and that is around 24.6 there. Very nice indeed. If we can get over that, that's going to be ideal. Next target point of resistance that we need to break is 28.9. We are continuously setting higher lows continuously, which is good. It's very good indeed. We are still setting higher highs at this trend here, still setting higher highs. So as long as we can keep doing that on the daily, it's looking bullish in my opinion, right? On the 4 hour right now, we're testing this price action channel. Ideally, we need to get above that. We need to get a 4 hour close in 3 hours and 20 minutes above that to see progression to the upside. Next target for the short term is 26.4. $26.40 for DOT there on the 4 hour. Definitely something to consider in terms of a position. We're potentially going to see a bounce from there, because if we are going to see a surge of buying power, you need to reference the RSI here. We are going to be pretty overbought, right? We're going to be pretty overbought, and that's basically going to see a reversal in the price. So we are likely to see a nice bit of resistance from this 55. Definitely something to consider when trading the old dot, right? Definitely something to consider. Right, let me jump. Sometimes your audio cuts off for like a second. That's interesting, because I just bought an insanely expensive mic. Maybe it's internet connection. Maybe I'll watch the stream back and I'll see if I can improve it for you guys there, because that obviously must be pretty annoying. Maybe I'm talking too fast or something like that. But yeah, I'll definitely have a think about it. So they're not actual trade setups, just products you think would do well for the day. Yeah, basically I just look at the chart and I see what's bullish or bearish and call it out and see what they're going to do, right? And that's why yesterday I called out VET and said, look, it does look good. We're setting high lows continuously, and it looked good for the start of the day. And well, it's up 19% today. So yeah, I just call it out. Just give you guys. It's not more like trades. It's more just like, have a look at these coins. They could potentially do well. It's definitely something to think about for you guys, right? Definitely just something to think about, right? Because obviously there's a hell of a lot of altcoins out there, right? Usually I primarily trade the top 50 because I prefer trading the top 50. It is quite annoying when they all correlate with Bitcoin, but hopefully in the future we are going to see a lot of different correlations in a sense from Bitcoin. Hopefully, right? When these coins actually start having proper uses and businesses start adopting the blockchain technology. God, that needs to happen already, right? But yeah, let's do Stellar. Let's do Stellar for D there. Right, let's start on the daily for Stellar. Oh, God, that's very juicy indeed. High lows being set continuously. The lowest low point was at 27 cents, right? Lowest point of support is at 33 cents there. We do have this level of support of the 200 SMA here to think about, and that is around 38 cents, right? At this point in time, we're challenging this major trend line, right? We're challenging this major trend line coming through this major trend line coming through with this rising channel that we've got going on here. If we can find a nice level of support on that at around 45 cents, if we can get a daily close around 45 cents, potentially a bit higher, right? I'd like to see it go a bit higher before we see that, because we could see a close above it and then that retracement, and then we fall below it and find that resistance from there, right? But yeah, ideally, I would like to see a close above it, and then the next challenge point on the daily would be around that 51. I mean, at this point in time, higher lows are being set. There's no reversal in the trend that I can see. It looks pretty good, right? Pretty good in terms of a target. In terms of a long position, you could potentially get in a long once we've cleared this this trend line here. But obviously, this trend line is going to fluctuate depending, right? As you can see, I have gone on these points here. Obviously, we do have this point here to think about as well. But yeah, more touches, the better, in my opinion. So yeah, this is a pretty crucial point to clear. If we are going to clear that potential long position up to this 55 moving average in terms of percent, it's going to be pretty juicy, right? It's going to be pretty juicy. Nice 13% trade there. Definitely something to consider, right? Probably a nice close stop loss as well, so you're not going to lose a lot in terms of percentages, right? That's that's the daily for Stellar right now. Obviously, you can see this downward sloping resistance line that we've got coming down here. We've got this downward sloping resistance line coming down here, and we did break that yesterday, right? We did actually smash through that in terms of finding a nice level of support on there, and we did see that buying power. We did see that buying power to the upside. We are actually currently challenging the price action channel around 44 there. If we are to break that, we've got this 21 acting as a level of support here. As you can see here, we did test it here, and we did basically see that progression to the upside. And it is near enough correlating perfectly with this downward sloping resistance line. So I can't see us falling. I can't see us falling any lower than that at this point in time, any lower than 41. Unless, of course, we see an absolute down sell of Bitcoin. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of watching Stellar at this point in time, because if Bitcoin is to dump off a cliff, right, if we are to lose this rising wedge that we've got going on here and looking at a measurement to the downside, it's still going to be potentially a higher low here. So it's probably not the end of the world for this trade, but it could be a massive trap, and that will obviously dump the price of Stellar, right, because it's obviously the leader in the market. Bitcoin is obviously the leader in the market, but the absolute low point I can see here is this volume weighted ATR, and we're looking at probably a bounce from there, and that is if this is on the predication that Bitcoin does dump. The bounce point from there is around 38 cents. Definitely something to consider, but we do have a level of support to break through as well, just above that at 39 cents as well. Likelihood, what we want for Stellar right now, we are setting these high lows in these trends continuously on these 4-hour candles here, which is good. It's good for this uptrend. Can't really see that reversal at this point in time. We haven't really set a higher high on this 4-hourly candle right now. It's pretty much central, right? Pretty much central. Have to go down to lower time frames to see that. But at this point in time, we do need to set a higher high. We do need to break this 55 moving average to look at a continuation to the upside. If not, a potential resistance point forming from this 55 moving average here, and then a potential curl over looking something like that, testing the price action, testing the 21, and then potentially a bounce coming from there, right? But at this point in time, we do need to be watching where this 4 hour is going to close. If we can get a higher high on this trend, if we can break this 55 at around this 47 mark, crucial point for Stellar. But obviously we are still pretty early in this 4-hourly candle here, so obviously we are seeing quite a lot of movement here in this 4-hourly candle, but we could see that progression route to the upside. And in terms of the RSI, we're not overbought, we're not oversold, we're pretty central right now, so that does give us space. It gives us a nice level of space to break to the upside. In terms of downward sloping resistance line, obviously we do have this high point coming down here. As you can see here, probably something along the lines of this. So if we are going to come down, we can see a nice bounce point on this level of support on this RSI here in terms of buying power. So if we are going to bounce potentially on this 21, and then we're going to bounce up, test this price action channel here, and then see a surge to the upside, potentially testing this 55. Obviously on the predication that we don't break this 55 on the 4-hourly here. So yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of Stellar right now. Target price, I would be looking at getting over this 55 at around 47 cents there. If we can get over that potential long up to this 200 mark, in terms of percent for that, we're looking at something along the lines of 11%. Very nice indeed, if that is something that you are looking at. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, sorry, run out of breath there. If you're enjoying the stream, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, trying to get on the YouTube algos. Very new streamer here. Still trying to get my point across in a positive way and all that stuff, in a confident way for you guys. Yeah, hopefully I've summed up your little TA there on Stellar. If we are going to absolutely surge to the upside here, next point that we're looking at basically getting over, we're going to see some of the same resistance here, is that 66 cents, right? Definitely a point where you could be looking at a potential short there, because we are going to see some of the same resistance. Probably a bounce to the downside, bounce off this 200 SMA that we've got going on, coming through here, potentially coming out like that. Obviously on the predication that we come up and we smash through all these major moving averages here. Definitely something to think about when trading Stellar, right? Let me jump to VeChain, actually. Let me jump to VeChain right now. Let me jump to let's jump to V chain right now. At this point in time for this, I can see at this point in time we are seeing quite a few trends sort of fizzle out right now. Quite a few trends sort of fizzle out in terms of that buying power that we have seen this morning. In terms of that buying power we have seen this morning, we are seeing quite a few trends fizzle out just because we are getting those lower highs forming. Obviously, we're not a candle close yet, but we are getting those lower highs forming on the 4 hour here. And as you can see, we are getting pretty dominant lower highs on the hourly time frames as well, right? So this is something to think about in terms of the price coming down, probably testing this 200 moving average here at around 12 cents there. That's the 1 hourly, and that basically correlates pretty perfectly with testing the 55 moving average on the midterm for the old V chain as well, right? At around this point here. Definitely something to consider in terms of a bounce point for VeChain here. In terms of a reversal of the trend to the upside. Obviously, we are going to start this downtrend now. If we aren't to see a higher high on this 4 hour close here, obviously we're only 45 minutes in roughly. But yeah, if we are going to come down, it is going to correlate perfectly with this downward sloping resistance line here on the RSI. So we do need to think about that. We do need to think about that here because we could be looking at a nice bounce point from there. It basically correlates perfectly with the bounce off the 55 moving average or potentially a bounce off the price action channel, right? Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old VeChain. In terms of price targets, if we are to set a new higher high and we are to continue that surge to the upside, but I wouldn't bet everything on it because literally, like, we're already up insane percentages for the day. At this point in time, we're up 17% for VeChain. Very, very nice indeed. But yeah, target point would be this 200 moving average here, and that is at $15. No, it's not 15 cents, right? It's at 15 cents. And the level of resistance, horizontal resistance point that we need to get over as well is at 16 cents, right? I'm just going to have a 2-minute break, guys. I have been streaming for an hour and 12 minutes. I am likely to, I'm probably going to go for 2 hours today. I'm quite enjoying myself. And yeah, hopefully I'm providing you guys with some good value, right? I'm going to do, once I've come back from my break, I will be doing a summary on Bitcoin on the short term, the midterm, and the long term there. So we can I can basically give you a summary on that, and then I'll jump back to some altcoins. But if you've got some requests, dump them in the chat, and I'll do some TA for you guys. Because pretty much that's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm here. But yeah, guys, if you like the stream, thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue. And guys, I'm here every day. I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, so you could be streaming with me every day. We're watching my stream every single day, Monday to Friday, and we could trade together, right? We could trade together. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. I advise you do your own research continuously. But yeah, that's going to be me. I'll see you guys after the break. Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. I've just finished my break, right? Thank you guys for sticking around. As I said before, I'm going to be doing a brief summary on Bitcoin. I did do the short-term, the mid-term, and the long-term at the start of the stream, but I'm going to do a brief summary as I do like to do that when I come back from my break, right? I do like to do that when I come back from my break. In terms of a long position, which we are looking at today, crucial points to break, right? Crucial point to break is this 41,006 zone, right? This 41,006 zone, because these are the lower highs set from that previous insane downtrend in which we saw, right? That previous insane downtrend, which we saw on the long term, that massive crash that we had there, right? So that is, we're going to see some resistance there, right? We're going to see some resistance there. 3 minutes. Some insane resistance there, I can predict, right? In my opinion, I will be getting in a long, potentially, if we can clear this and find a nice level of support there. 3 minutes, bad TA. Cheers, mate. Yeah, as you can see here, if we can get over this... if we get over this 41,600 mark, that's going to be an ideal place to find a nice level of support there and progress to the upside. If we don't get over that, we are potentially going to see a trend reversal, right? Crucial point, very serious now. Crucial point for Bitcoin there is to get over these marks, right? To get over these lower highs, to basically confirm that we are seeing this reversal in the trend, right? We are seeing this reversal in the trend to the upside. If we don't see that, if we see insane resistance from this point, as we did see last time we were testing it here, and we do see that continuation to the downside, and potentially a lower low being set there, it's not looking good for Bitcoin, right? It's not going to be looking good at all, right? It's not going to be looking good at all. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of watching the price of Bitcoin right now. But yeah, as I said, if we are getting over that, I am looking at a potential long position, potentially up to this volume weighted ATR band. But as I said a minute ago, yeah, we do have a trend cycle coming down, a higher high and a lower high being set on the MACD there. And also on the 1 hour time frame here. We are going to be pretty overly extended, right? We're going to be pretty overly extended if we are to see a surge of buying power to the upside. So that obviously means when we are going to see a bit of consolidation around this point, right? A bit of consolidation around this point, as you did see before. We did see a lot of swings in trades here, so we could be a lot of swings in trends here. So we could be seeing so a nice level of consolidation here before we retrace in buying power on the RSI. Definitely something to consider, right? Because if we are looking at a long here, it's going to be pretty hard to find an entry, right? It's going to be pretty hard to find an entry if the price is just going up and down. So we are going to be looking at hopefully riding this this top side of this falling wedge here, riding the top side of this falling wedge, rising wedge here, top side of this rising wedge here, and looking for that entry if we can, right? If we're looking like we're going to lose it anytime soon, that's basically going to correlate perfectly with losing these lower highs from that previous downtrend that we had, and that'll basically initiate a big reverse in the trend. And coming down to touch this level of support around 39.6. I'm going to say pretty imminently indeed. So it's definitely something to consider with trading Bitcoin on the short term, right? Now, let's jump to the midterm, right? Let's jump to the midterm. At this point in time, we are testing this 55 moving average, right? We're testing this 55 moving average, sat around 40,154, right? Sat around 40,157. Currently testing that point there. If we can find a nice level of support, if we can get a nice 4 hour close just above it here, that's going to be ideal, and it could potentially mean we're going to surge to the upside. As you can see, we have just set a higher high right now on this 4 hourly candle here. And as I'm saying, we are losing the 55. So that's an initiation that we are potentially going to have that continuation to the upside. But as you can see here, we are basically having that momentum to the downside, right? We're having that momentum to the downside, which is initiating a downtrend, right? It's initiating a downtrend. As long as we don't lose this higher low here. Chester and Hammy gave it all today, heading to the moon. Yeah, if we don't lose this higher high here, pub for a break. Yeah, probably, man. Definitely. Yeah, if we don't lose this higher low that we've got going on here, then it's basically an initiation that we are going to have that continuation to the upside, and we are going to keep challenging this 55 until we find a nice level of support on it, right? If we can find a nice level of support on this 55, we can see that progression to the upside, which would be very nice indeed. Potentially going to the pub for a break for Ivo there. Potentially, probably not. It's not going to be a 3-minute pub break. Definitely not indeed, right? So yeah, crucial point to get over is this 55 moving average. Obviously, we do have these lower highs to get over on the shorter time frame, as I was saying. Well, obviously, they're on all time frames, but as I was saying, we do need to get over that point. So it's definitely a place to watch, right? Definitely crucial point for Bitcoin today. Very, very crucial indeed for Bitcoin. If we do get over that and we see a nice surge in the price, Next target point on the midterm is this. We got horizontal resistance point at 47,800 there, and we do have 200 SMA to think about as well, right? But brings me on to the long term, right? Actually, I'll do a bit of the RSI quickly. As you can see, we do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here, which we do have these spillovers, right? We do have these spillovers, right? But we do know it's primarily respected, right? It's primarily respected. So we do need to think about that, because at this point in time, we are testing it. So if we are to find a level of resistance, we're going to dump off this 55 to the downside, testing this 21 potentially, and basically losing potential support that we're finding on this RSI downward sloping resistance line at this point in time. And that's basically going to cause some selling power in the market, right? And that's basically going to put us down to this 21 at around 38K as well. So around potentially a $2,000 dump for BTC there as well. Thoughts on TRS? Let me type that in for you in a second once I've finished a little TA on Bitcoin. But as you can see here, we do have a downward cycle on the MACD here, which it's pretty flaccid, right? It's pretty flaccid right now. So if we are going to see some sort of bearish crossover happening anytime soon, we need to take into account it could be tiny. It could be pathetic, right? It could be a little pathetic crossover, and it could respect this support line here. But that's obviously on predication that it doesn't respect this, that it does respect this trend line here. If we do see that bearish crossover, we could be looking at a new trend cycle, a new downtrend coming through, and that'll basically initiate. If that does happen, watch this trend line as it happens, right? Because that could initiate that we are basically going to come down to a lower point, potentially on this 21 moving average that we've got going on here, which is definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider, and that is basically the midterm for Bitcoin, right? Let me jump to the long term quickly, because there is some crucial points on the long term that I want to talk about, right? Just to summarize Bitcoin. After my break here, as you can see here, we do have this bull market barrier. If we're blue, we're in a bull market. If we're red, we're in a bear market. If we're yellow, we're uncertain. It's the uncertain point. At this point in time, we are looking like we're setting higher lows continuously all the way up to basically come up and attack this 43K one zone, which would be we are going to find some resistance off this point, right? We are going to find some resistance off this point. If we can find a nice level of support, next target is around 48K there. Crucial points for Bitcoin. If we see a rejection, it's going to be huge, right? It's going to be huge. We are going to be setting potential lower highs here for Bitcoin if we are to see a big rejection, and that's why it's crucial to get over these lower highs here at 42K, and that's the point that I'm watching today, right? If we can get over that, then it's going to be juicy. Next target is around 43K. Definitely something to think about. But as I said before, on our last bull trend that we had, right, on our last bull market that we were in, I'm not going to go right back to it now, but the last bull market we were in, we did actually come down, right? We did actually come down. We lost the bull market barrier. We came right down to, I think, 6 grand, I think it was, and then we saw a retracement of 100%, right? A retracement of 100% before progressing to the downside, right? So that obviously trapped a lot of people out, right? Which is, I mean, at this point in time, we're seeing higher lows continuously. There's no shaking out in the market. It's just literally buying power, right? We're just seeing insane buying power, which is an indication to me that it could be a trap, right? It could be a trap. So definitely something to think about in terms of these points, these clear points to think about here. That we do need to cross in terms of price action, in terms of buying power to the upside. If we can find a nice level of support on that, then yes, I'm definitely going to be flipping pretty bullish, right? But crucial points right now, I'm undecided. This is just it's just crucial, right? It's goddamn crucial. But yeah, let me have a look at that that TRIAS for you, mate. Trias. Wrong chart. Let me have a look at that. Trias tether. Do a bit to tether. Yeah, so currently we're trading at $11. Hopefully I've got the right chart there. Currently trading at $11. Let me jump to the daily here. Same scenario as pretty much all the altcoins here. Lower lows being set continuously, and now we're setting those higher lows continuously. You see that reversal in the trend. Hopefully, we're looking at that nice V-shaped recovery we've got going on here. Let me get rid of this WOD machine quick. Pretty much easier to see. Yeah, so this V-shaped recovery we've got going on here. Higher lows being set continuously. Higher highs being set continuously in terms of the trend. Well, not quite here, but we have seen a reversal in the trend here on the daily. So it's a signal that we are going to continue to the upside, right? But yeah, crucial points to watch is these lower high points on that deep previous downswing to get through today. And that's why today is pretty crucial for crypto in general, right? For crypto in general. So we are looking at basically crossing this point, target-wise, at around $13, right? I'm not saying that we're not going to find resistance there. We are potentially going to find quite a bit of resistance there. So definitely something to consider. As you can see, this 21 moving average on the daily that we've got coming through here, we did test it. We did find a bit of resistance there. So in terms of a target to get over, if you're thinking of uptrend, if you're thinking like a bull here, you would be looking at getting over around this $12.30 mark. $12.30 mark, and then you need to get over this big hefty wick on the daily here at $13.30, right? That's pretty much the daily here. In terms of the 4 hour here, the midterm here, look, you've just basically you've claimed it. You've claimed the 55, you've claimed the 200 moving average here. It's looking pretty good. You're finding a nice level of support here. As long as you don't lose these two major moving averages here, you're looking at potential progression to the upside, right? Definitely potential progression to the upside. But if you are likely to lose these major moving averages here, you could be looking at coming down, testing this price action channel at around $9 here. But yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of the price action right now. But as you can see, we have seen this pretty big upswing, right? We've seen these pretty big upswings in terms of buying power, right? So you definitely need to think we are due. This was some sort of retracement from that, right, to make it healthy, because you can't have a swing like this so big without this healthy correction. At this point in time, we could see a swing, right? If we're going to see a swing, again, we have seen a bit of a swing today, to be honest, but if we are going to see a bigger swing to the upside, potentially sitting around this point, as I said, the lower highs from before, you're going to see a correction from there, right? You're going to see a correction at around this point, right? You're going to see definitely some sort of resistance forming here. Potentially correction coming down, bouncing off the 200 yet again, and hopefully breaking that level of resistance once again. So in terms of predictions, right, I would see you getting up to around $13 there, but I would go on the predication of us closing above this 200 moving average yet again, right? If we can get above that, close above that, we're looking at a nice target of 13, but I am saying you are going to find some resistance there, right? As I just said, we do have this RSI. The buying power of the RSI is more than the selling power at the moment. If we are going to see us come up and test this critical point at 13, we are going to be oversold, right? We are going to, overbought, right? We're going to be overbought, and that's going to indicate a price drop, right? It's going to indicate a price drop, as I said, potentially down to the 200 moving average there as well. So that does correlate perfectly with that. And as you can see here, we do have these pretty dominant highs here, being set on the MACD here. And we are still in that uptrend. We did see it fizzle out, right? We did see it fizzle out, and that was this pullback here. If we can see enough buying power to the upside and cross this horizontal point at around 0.73 there, that would be very nice. I can see us potentially coming up to this horizontal point at around 1.23 on the MACD there. Something definitely to watch out for. At this point in time, there's no sign of a bearish crossover happening anytime soon to signal a downtrend here. But if we are going to signal a downtrend, as you can see, we do have a dominant trend line coming down, coming up from the downtrends on the MACD here. So if we are going to signal a downtrend, if we are going to signal that bearish crossover on the MACD here, we're looking like it's going to be a pretty flaccid trend, right? Pretty flaccid trend indeed, because as you can see here, we're going to see a nice bounce, nice resistance off here, and it basically indicates we are going to bounce off this 200, which indicates a pretty flaccid trend on the MACD here, because we are potentially going to respect this level of support. And yeah, that's what I'd be looking at for Trias, or TRIAS, right? Let me jump to what else we got in the chat here. We got Bitcoin Cash. Let me have a little Bitcoin Cash in a sec. If you guys manage to squish it in 3 minutes, there'll be a tequila shot drinkers coming through. Shout out. Charting is like painting, gets easy with time, but only if you're good at it. Very, very true indeed. It is an art, trading. Trading is an art. Thanks, Evo T. We saw insane buys at 30k and below. I think the run is not over, but also it would be a way to short cycle after halving. Doesn't seem right. Yeah, I do agree with you there, bro. It doesn't seem right. It does seem very, very trappy indeed, right? Very, very trappy indeed for Bitcoin, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we came all the way up to 48k, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we came all the way up to 48k and then saw that continuation down, right? Would not be surprised at all, because at this point in time, obviously we saw this insane panic sell-off, right? We saw this insane panic sell-off. A lot of celebrities had just got into Bitcoin, right? They bought it at literally the top, and a lot of people, a lot of the retail market, they bought a lot of altcoins. I know people who invested serious money in altcoins, like literally life savings and stuff, and I was literally saying to them, like, look, don't be dumping all your money into these altcoins, into crypto. It's not stable. It's gonna crash, and this is what I think what happened, right? Everyone got in, the price just absolutely pumped to the moon. All the whales were like, right, we've got enough of the retail people in. It's trending enough on social media. Let's dump it. Let's get everyone's life savings down by like 40%. And then everyone sold at a loss, right? Everyone sold at a loss. And everyone sat there like, oh, I hate crypto. I lost millions. Well, don't invest in something you don't know about, right? Do your research first. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we came all the way up, had another trap at around 48, and then came down, continuation down from there. Ideally, I don't want to. I want to see a nice break of this bull market barrier at 53 and that continuation up, because it is easy. It is easier trading a bull market rather than a bear market. But real traders trade bear markets as well, right? And I've got indicators for that. Courtesy of Bitcoin Beats. Yeah. So it doesn't mean we're not going to stop trading if we go into a bear market, right? Yeah, let me have a look. Do you watch the RSI often? I feel like it's not reliable at all. I mean, in terms of like quick swings, in terms of being overbought, I think it's pretty reliable in terms of short-term retracement, right? In terms of short-term retracement, so like at this point here on the hourly, it doesn't work as good in my opinion on like the daily and stuff like that. It works if you're looking at quick swings, right? So as you can see, this buying power to the upside, we became overbought. That's why we saw this retracement down to this 200 moving average here, right? That's why we saw it. Because of the RSI, it was near enough overbought there. So we are seeing that downwards pressure. And if we are going to come up and test the top side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here, we're going to see a rejection in the RSI because we are going to be overbought again there. So it does work. It does work. I do see what you're saying, because sometimes it doesn't work, and it's annoying when it doesn't work. But that's like a lot of indicators. You're never going to get an indicator that works like 100% of the time, right? So you just need to take it with like a pinch of salt. That's what I do anyway, right? But it's always good to reference like loads and loads and loads of different indicators throughout a trade you're making, and then weigh out the probability of each thing playing out, right? Let me have a look. Oh, chat's moving pretty fast. Or just use it as an extra confirmation of what you're thinking already. Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Also, I've never seen like of systematic at the top before. It just seems like a whale's just stacking up big time right now. Yeah, mate, definitely. I do see the whales stacking, and I do see the whales trapping. Stacking and trapping. Exactly right. Would be the first time. Can you shed some light on the whales' tactics a bit more? Is it about accumulating or about fun? I do think they're having fun, right? I do think they're having fun, because if you're watching social media and stuff, you can see actually quite a few idiots getting into trading, right? Obviously, I'm not going to be mean, right? I'm not going to be mean, but a few uneducated people getting into trading and crypto. And obviously, we saw a lot of people getting into stock trading with the whole GME short squeeze and all of that stuff. And they're trying to do an AMC short squeeze at the moment, but in my opinion, I don't think that's ever going to happen, right? But yeah, you see a lot of uneducated people going, I can get rich. I'm going to get rich by investing in a really crappy altcoin, and it's going to go to the absolute moon, right? I'm going to get rich by doing that. No, you're not. Crypto is not a get rich quick scheme. And the fact that the normal human, right? The normal human falls for this. They see it. That's why you see all these ads. I can make you money really fast and all that stuff like that. Because the normal human, the normal 9 to 5 working human is like, I hate my job. I need to get into I need to get rich, right? I need to get rich. If there's a shortcut to me getting rich and paying off my mortgage, I'm going to do that like right now. I'm going to snap at that opportunity. And scammers thrive on that stuff as well. So I think the whales are literally thriving on that, watching the whole crypto go mainstream and going, we're going to make so much goddamn money when we start this sell-off. And that's exactly what they did here. They started the sell-off, and then I think they probably sold off to around this point here, and then everyone else continued this down. Everyone else started the panic sell. And that's basically what happened. And yes, in answer to your question, I think they are having a lot of fun. And also in terms of accumulation, I mean, they were probably worried at around 65K, like, oh God, Bitcoin could continue up from there if big companies like Tesla and stuff were continually investing in it. So yeah, they were probably like, oh God, we need to dump the price so we can buy it at low 30s. Do you know what I mean? Well, yeah, low 30s. So that's basically what they're doing. And for me, in my opinion, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they were dumping the price even more. I can't see this going lower than 20, right? Can't see this going lower than 20. But for me, insane accumulation point when we even get to 30 right now. Insane accumulation point, because long term for Bitcoin, there's faith there. It's going to go to the goddamn moon, right? It's going to go to the goddamn moon. So yeah, definitely things to think about in terms of thinking like a whale, as Bitcoin Beats says, right? Yeah, I feel you on the RSI. It's just sometimes the momentum is too strong for the RSI, but it's definitely good to also keep track of the RSI. Might need to do it a bit more. You're big on fundamentals, Hamilton told me. What do you think about API 3? Mainnet is coming soon. To be honest, I don't really know about API 3. I should probably do some more research on that myself. I do like my fundamentals of announcements like Hammy probably told you about ADA, right? I do like watching the altcoin like roadmaps. I like watching the altcoin roadmaps and trying to get a gauge for what they're thinking and when certain technology gets releases, like when stuff gets listed on certain blockchains and certain exchanges, right? And for ADA, the reason why I was insanely bullish on ADA, and I still am insanely bullish on ADA, is because what they're doing, the fundamental of what they're doing with Africa, right? They're giving people identity, giving people literally like the chance to be educated, right? They're giving everyone the chance to borrow credit, have mortgages. Basically, a lot of the financials that we have in the West, they're giving a lot of the in a sense unestablished places in Africa the chance to do that, which is absolutely great. And if they can colonize that across Africa, then ADA is just going to be like the main thing, the absolute main thing for Africa in terms of a continent. So that's why I'm insanely bullish. And if you need to do some more research on that yourself, I would look at ADA, right? Pretty sure they sold further than BNB, but they seem to want to liquidate certain people, like I said on 4chan. I know some people who know Justin Stone and they wanted to liquidate him. Yeah, I heard about that as well. We borrowed on the A-type system and he could get liquidated. That's why. Interesting stuff, right? Let me jump onto some altcoins here. Very, very interesting stuff. Plurirat, I don't want to say it wrong. Plurirat, yep, around that, right? Let me jump onto some altcoins here. Bitcoin's still coming down, right? Well, it's come back up. It's around that 40,200 mark there. Let's do Bitcoin Cash as requested from before. Apologies, I did forget about that, right? In terms of what's happening on the chart right now, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Pretty much the same thing that we've got going on here. In terms of these lower lows being set, and then the retracement from there, the higher lows being set from there. But as you can see here, we have just had a lower high being set on the daily. Obviously, this candle is not closed, so we do have the potential to come up further. But in terms of open to right now, it's pumped pretty nicely, pretty significantly in my opinion, right? And we have bounced off this pretty dominant level of support at around 718, right? So yeah, in terms of a target, in terms of the daily, I would be looking at 897, but obviously we do have these crucial lower highs to get over here. Definitely a point to think about in terms of like, it's all the charts, right? Definitely such a major point to think about is literally these lower high point here at around 828, right? 828. No major moving averages coming up here. Coming down here. We have found a nice level of support on the 200. So if we are going to dump and lose this level of support here, I would see us bouncing off this 200 here. Likely scenario for that to happen. Still, in a sense, creating higher lows continuously. Obviously, you can't go off one candle if we are to lose this high low here and set a high low here and then continuation to the upside. It doesn't mean that the trend's going to basically finish, right? And that's basically the daily for Bitcoin Cashy right now. You can see pretty much same sort of scenario as a lot of the coins right now. We do have this this rising wedge coming through. So we are looking at a break to the upside, but obviously this is playing out on a lot of charts, so be careful, right? Be careful. At this point in time, we're finding a nice level of support on this 751 mark. H2O. 751 mark, we are finding a nice level of support on that. And we are looking to come up and test this 55, and it is going to correlate perfectly with these lower highs being set here. Definitely crucial point to watch, as just stated on the long-term time frame here. If we can find a nice level of support on this 55 moving average around this point here, if we can find a nice level of support there, I would be looking at progressionary to the upside. Obviously, on the predication that we are to break this this crucial point here, as just stated. If we are to break that, we could be looking at a price target around the 200, around the 950 mark. Obviously, we're trading a lot higher than that before the dump, around 1500. So we could be looking at some sort of recovery from there. As I said, higher lows being set continuously all the way up, which is healthy, right? It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good, but obviously, crucial points are these lower high points on most of the time frames, right? Most of the time frames. And we need to claim this 55 pretty strongly, right? We need to claim this 55 pretty strongly and find that bounce point. Find that bounce point from that 55 and then basically ride it up, right? We need to ride that up, smash through this point here, because I do think everyone's underestimating this point here, and we are going to see some sort of retracement from that. Potentially looking something like this, smashing down, probably smashing through this moving average that we've got coming on here. Not this moving average, this trend line that we've got coming through here. And potentially coming down, bouncing off this level of support before we see another continuation to the upside from there, right? Definitely something to consider, because at this point in time, you see these upswings that we're having, right? These are pretty steep, right? These are pretty steep upswings. So yeah, definitely things to consider. Price to watch, I'd say around 835 to around 863, right? And that's for Bitcoin Cash, right? Not a trade that I'd be looking at unless we can see some clear momentum to the upside. But even that, still, you're probably looking at some sort of measure move along the lines of this. But obviously, you've got this point here to think about, right? So if you're going to get in a position, it's going to be around here once we've cleared that, once we found that nice support, and then you're going to be riding up to the 200 potentially from there. Measure move ends at around that point. In terms of percent from when you would probably enter, would be around that. So it'd be around a 6% trade, something along the lines of that. So it's definitely something to think about when trading Bitcoin Cash. But as I said a minute ago, this is a rising wedge, and a lot of the charts do have these rising wedges, right? A lot of the charts do have these rising wedges, so there is going to be some trappy mess, like we saw yesterday. I think in symmetrical triangles, I think it was. A lot of the charts doing the same thing, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin Cash, right? Let me have a little look. Seems like Matic took over the... yeah, Matic is going crazy, right? Crazy. Let me do a little bit on Matic, actually. I did actually have that as one of my altcoins to watch today. For Matic, as you can see on the... Let's go to the daily quickly. Go to the daily. Let's go to the daily. Delete these trend lines. Let's go to the daily on this right now. As you can see, it's the same sort of scenario. Lower lows being set, and now we're on that higher low period continuously. But we have actually found this major level of support, right? We found this major level of support on the daily. Let's jump down to the 12-hour, right? It might be a bit better, yeah. We have we did actually test it. We found a nice level of resistance on it. Bounced off the 21 moving average that we got here, and basically tested this major trend line that we've got going on here again. And within the last 12 hours, we have come up, we've found that momentum to the upside. Haven't quite tested the level of support here at the previous all-time high close. We haven't tested that level of support here, but the buying power for Matic is just literally, it's just insane, right? It's just absolutely insane. I think it's shocking a lot of people. From the low to now, we're literally up 200%. Crazy stuff for Matic. Pretty bullish on Matic. Yeah, pretty bullish on Matic as what we have seen from these lower lows being created. The buying power to the upside from there has just been nuts, right? It's just been absolutely nuts. Obviously, this is all following Bitcoin, this dump here. But yeah, the buying power to the upside has just been absolutely crazy. In terms of what I could potentially see right now, I mean, as it's playing out here, right? It's playing out here because we've seen this insane surge, right? This insane surge of buying power to the upside, literally near enough 40%, right? Near enough 40%, you're going to need some sort of retracement from that, right? You're going to need some sort of retracement from that. In terms of what we're doing at the moment, we're around 10%, which is where we bounce from. Testing that volume-weighted ATR band on the 4-hour time frame there. So likelihood, I would see us coming back down. I would see us coming back down in the next few candles or so on the 4-hour, and testing the bottom side of this channel, this rising channel that we got going here for Matic, right? This bottom side of this channel that we got going on here. But in terms of the bounce point from there, I can see us bouncing from there because obviously we do have a lot of buying strength for Matic. And then the next target point is around 2.55. Definitely something to consider, right? Potentially a trade of this volume-weighted ATR band if it can correlate perfectly with when we come down, and measuring up with this major trend line that we've got going on here on the lower side of this channel, right? Potentially along up to $2.55. For the long term for Matic right now, I do see us continuing, right? I do see us continuing. I do see us having these corrections, these consolidation periods before these waves up again. Consolidation period, wave up. Consolidation period, wave up. Break the previous all-time high, wave up, set a new all-time high. Potentially consolidation period to come down, and then test this trend line as you're coming back down again, and basically continue that uptrend up. Obviously, on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't dump off a cliff, because obviously that does have an effect on Matic itself. But as we have seen, Matic has been doing some crazy stuff. I did read some tweets yesterday, actually, that a lot of people think Matic, by the summer, we're going to hit an all-time high for Matic, and then it's apparently going to dump off a cliff when Ethereum announced their new technology, their problem-solving technology, apparently, right? When they announced their problem-solving technology. So that's definitely something to consider with Matic, right? Because if we are going to see some insane new all-time highs here, we are going to see retracement, right? We are going to see retracement. And if we go to the higher time frames, we're going to be getting that parabolic, right? If we can keep going up, right, we're going to see just parabolicness going up, and that obviously means big corrections from there. And potentially, if Bitcoin is going to dump off a cliff and continue in this bear market to the downside, we are going to see big corrections for Matic there. Yeah, so that's pretty much Matic summed up. Let me jump to the hourly, right? Hourly, right? Levels of support for the hourly. For you more scalpiers, we are testing this volume-weighted ATR band here, and that is around $2.23 there. The level of support, the level of resistance we need to break is $2.33 there. If we can get above that, the next target point will be at the all-time high close, which is at around $2.58. I can see us potentially getting there today, but at this point in time, we have been setting lower lows on the hourly for this trend. If we don't see If we don't see us coming down and setting another lower low, potentially coming down to the 21, I can see us setting a higher low here and basically seeing that momentum to the upside continuing, right? That momentum to the upside continuing, and the test of this level of resistance at 233. So it's definitely one to watch, especially if we can close above this volume weighted ATR band, because we know we do get a nice level of support from that. If I just zoom out, right? If we can get a close above the volume weighted ATR band, we usually come down, touch it, bang it to the moon. From there, as you can see, volume weighted ATR band coming down, that's this red one here. We come down, we touch it, we bang up again. Vice versa, we come down, we touch it, we bang up again, right? Obviously, we do get those retracements as normal, right? And that's probably what we're seeing here. We come up, we didn't bang it, but if we can close above it, we're looking at a nice progressionary move to the upside there. And that's pretty much Matic summed up, right? Just gonna have some more H2O. Take a look at the chart. It was crazy because it had a bonding curve, so it went like a stairway to heaven. Ticker true. I missed a lot of the chat there. When ETH solves their fees, like half of the ecosystem dies. Yeah, that's so true, bro. So true. It's definitely going to have an effect on Binance Coin as well, because it's like obviously the competition in terms of blockchain. TrueBit protocol will fix that as a layer 2 solution. I mean, I have done a bit of research on TrueBit protocol, but I would like to learn a bit more, right? Obviously, there's so much to learn with blockchain technology and all of that good stuff there. Yeah, I know the pretty basic stuff, right? I would like to know a lot more, and I am researching literally every day. But yeah, definitely some good stuff to know there. So I'll definitely note that down, TrueBit and layer 2 solution. I heard a bit about the layer 2 solution, but I definitely researched that. You should have looked at the chart, pretty impressive. The guy from Ethereum wrote an article about it. Take a look at the chart. It was crazy because it had a bonding curve. It was like a stairway to heaven. Is that the Ethereum chart, bro? Is that what you're on about? Dun, 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 dun. We'll do a bit of Ethereum. Do a little bit of Ethereum, right? Ethereum right now, as you can see, that trend line is pretty goddamn awful. Goddamn awful. This is the daily for Ethereum. As you just said, I think you said you're referring to this this chart here. It is like a stairway to heaven. It's a stairway to heaven. It's just progressing to the upside and has been for a long time, right? It has been for a long time, continuously since like March last year, since that crash, right? Ethereum's just been going crazy, as we all know. Right now, it dumped down. On that previous crash that we just had, it dumped down to 1,700 after seeing that 4,300 mark, which is absolutely crazy. From that, I remember when we were sat around 2K for a while, this consolidation period here. Literally, that pump to the upside, we saw literally 100% for Ethereum in the matter of weeks, right? It was a matter of weeks. It was just literally insane stuff going on there. Actually, look, 124% for Ethereum, absolutely insane. So at this point in time, we are looking at coming back up and reclaiming that zone, right? If we can get to that point on the daily, we do need to get over this volume-weighted ATR band, because as you can see here, we do find a nice level of support along this volume-weighted ATR band. So it's definitely something to consider if we are to clear that in the next day or so, right? If we are to clear that in the next day or so, we could be looking at getting over the 21 moving average as well, and the price action channel here, right? The price action channel, as you can see here, we do find a nice level of support on that as well, right? So that's three things, right? And you got the 55. That's three things that are basically saying that we're going to push to the upside. We are going to push to the upside for Ethereum if we can get that daily close, potentially above that 2,900 zone. Then I can see us basically coming up a lot higher, a goddamn lot higher than that, potentially testing these lower highs here at around 3,400. So potential long position there, right? If you're going to be looking at a long position from around this point here to potentially around this point here, in terms of percent, you'd be looking at around something along the lines of, I'd probably go on the close, right? Nice 13% for Ethereum there. And if you're leveraging that, that's going to be juicy gains, right? Absolutely juicy indeed. So it's definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider for Ethereum on the long term, right? On the long term. Let's go jump to the midterm, right? Same sort of scenario. Higher lows being set. Same sort of scenario as a lot of the coins, right? A lot of the altcoins and crypto in general. We are seeing those high lows being set continuously. We are currently challenging the 200 SMA here. The 200 SMA here, we're currently challenging that. If we can get above that, ideal. We are going to see that progression to the upside, as I just said. If we do get above that around 2,900, that does correlate perfectly with the volume-weighted ATR band and the price action channel and the 21 moving average that we've got coming in here. If we can get above that, ideal. That's going to be ideal scenario, because we are seeing that we are going to see a nice upwards momentum swing from there. Currently, we are challenging the lower highs here, and that's why we're obviously seeing that resistance here as well, which will be really interesting to see how this is going to play out, whether we are going to see some insane resistance from that coming down back to the 55. If we are, that price is around So 2,734, definitely something to consider there. No, the true bit chart, right? Okay, let me look at that in a sec, bro. I'll just finish this. Yeah, that would be the bounce point, I think, for Ethereum right there, because we do obviously have this nice horizontal level of support correlating perfectly with the 55 moving average. So bounce point potentially at 2,700, right? Let me have a look at that for you, bro. So was it Ethereum to true bit or true bit to Ethereum? Oh, true, right? True to Tether. Let's do that. True to Tether, yeah. Let me go on the daily. Wow, yeah, look at that. Very, very nice channel coming through, right? Very nice channel coming through from what I'm seeing. Potentially something along the lines of this, right? Something along the lines of this. If I can move that one up a little bit, yeah. Basically a lot nicer. Yeah, you can see a nice channel coming through here. Absolute bottom, I'd say at the bottom of the channel. We do have this level of support at around 0.29 here. It's looking, it's just healthy, right? It's just healthy sideways action. This is quite nice. We've got touches on the top side, very nice. Touches on the bottom side, very nice. Even with this dump, we did come up and we did reclaim this level of support here, which is it's always nice to see, right? At this point in time, we are losing the central part of this channel here, and we're coming down, right? We're coming down, setting lower lows continuously, but we do actually have this higher low that we're setting on the daily. If we can close, it's not on Binance. That's true fight, right? Okay. It's true for protocol. Sorry, no worries, man. True bit protocol, right? Let's see if I can find it. So if we go true, is it on an exchange? Probably getting the wrong end of the stick, aren't I? It's only on Uniswap, right? Okay, that makes a lot more sense, right? Yeah. Do we have Uniswap in here? No, I don't think we do, right? Oh yeah, maybe. No, it's sushi. Yeah, not on here, I don't think. But yeah, I'll do some research on that. I'll do some research on that when I'm done with the stream, bro. Definitely. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, carrying on with TrueFi, right? Why not? Carrying on with TrueFi. We are testing this 21 moving average. We are seeing a higher low being formed here. If we are going to hold that on the daily here, we are going to see a retracement in the price, potentially coming up, smashing through these major moving averages here, and seeing a continuation to the upside, potentially coming up to the top side of this channel, right? Would be a long way off, but it would be nice to see. And it is looking pretty healthy indeed for it to do so, right? In terms of buying power to the upside. Look how girthy that massive candle is there, right? Yeah, in terms of the 4 hour right now, in terms of next level of resistance that we need to try and tackle, it's 0.41, 41 cents. Definitely going to be hard to get through this 200 moving average here. As you can see, we do have a lot of support to the upside from there, but obviously the resistance here it's pretty big, right? The resistance is pretty big off this 200 moving average here, so we do need to tackle that pretty soon, right? Pretty soon we do need to tackle that. How long have I been streaming now? Near enough 2 hours, right? Near enough 2 hours. Crazy, crazy stuff. Guys, if you're liking this stream, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I am the new guy on the block in terms of streaming, right? I've only been streaming for like 2 weeks. So yeah, helps me out tremendously if you turn that thumbs up blue. And also, guys, I stream every single morning. Monday to Friday. I do like to get in some weekend streams as well, but I'm not making no promises. Not making no promises. I do like to get in weekend streams as well. Yo, bro. T618. Yeah, I do like to get in those weekend streams as well. Your brother says hello. Cheers, guys. Welcome. I am Bitcoin Beats' brother. Yeah, let me do sum up on Bitcoin, right? Yeah, what I was saying, I do stream every day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you could hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. I also do altcoin videos. Yeah, the chat is absolutely just blowing up here. Hello, everyone, from Bitcoin Beats' stream. Nice to meet you. I'm his brother, right? Let me do a little TA view on Bitcoin. As you can see, we do have this rising wedge. Just going to have some water here. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we do have this rising wedge coming through here. As you can see on the top side here, we have tested this morning, right? We have tested this morning. We did come down. We did see that bounce from that 200 SMA here. And we're looking like, at this point in time, we're looking like to see that reversal in the trend on the hourly here. We're seeing that reversal in the trend. If we can close above this lower point and set a nice higher low here, we can see a nice potential retest of this 400 and yeah. Hello, Bitcoin Beats. Yeah, we can see a potential retest of this rising wedge trend line at the top side, right? In order for us to do that, right? We are going to have to see a surge in the buying power, right? And surge in the buying power, which basically with what's happening on the RSI right now, we're looking at a point, if we are going to see a surge in the buying power, we are going to be overbought, right? We're going to be overbought on the RSI, which basically means we are going to see some sort of retracement in terms of selling power, which could mean we could come down and test this 200 moving average and bounce off this level of support at around 39,600. So definitely a point to watch. For Bitcoin right now, because King Chester the Third, brilliant. But yeah, definitely a point to watch for there. Obviously, we do have this downward sloping resistance line coming down from this lower high on that previous crash before. And as I was saying at the start of my stream today, these lower high points here, this correlation point that we're seeing on the short term for Bitcoin, or for Bitcoin in general, it's a very crucial point, right? It's a very crucial point for Bitcoin right now, because if we are going to see us break that, if we are going to see us find support on this 41,006 zone, right, we are going to see a nice... It's basically going to be confirmation that we're not going to have that continuation down, right? We're not going to have that continuation down, and it's not going to mean that all of this here was a complete trap of buying power to the upside to convince everyone to get back into the market, right? So things to watch today would definitely be this 41,600 mark. If we are going to find a nice level of support on that, there's a potential long position to think about, right? Potential long position in terms of a measure move for this rising wedge would be something along the lines of this, obviously depending on where we're going to break, right? Obviously depending on where we're going to break, and whether we're going to find that resistance from this from these lower high points to think about as well, right? If we are going to, we do need to think about managing our position, managing our entry, right? Because obviously we're not going to enter as soon as we get out. We usually enter on the retest. On this case, right, we are going to be waiting. Even if we do get a retest and we do see a surge to the upside, we are going to be waiting for the confirmation to clear these lower highs, because there is insane resistance here, right? Insane resistance, easily coming down to this level of support here around 39.6 if we are going to see it. So it's definitely a point to watch. If we are going to clear that, though, if we are going to be clearing this point around this 41.6 sort of mark, 41.42 sort of mark, if we are going to clear that, I am going to be looking at a long position for the completion of this measure move up to this volume weighted ATR band around a nice 4% daily trade for Bitcoin, right? 4% daily trade for Bitcoin at this point in time. For that to happen, we would need to break to the top side of this rising wedge here, and we would need to see pretty much a nice bit of buying power and a nice break of these lower highs here. That's pretty much the short term for Bitcoin there. Let me jump to the midterm quickly. Hello, mate. What's your thoughts on ADA? Hello, everyone, from Bitcoin Beats' stream. Very nice to meet you. I am his brother. Let me just finish Bitcoin and then I'll do a bit of ADA. I've got ARR as well, Lord. Yeah, I'll do a bit of that in a minute as well, right? Just give me a sec, right? Let me just go back. Let me jump onto the midterm for Bitcoin. As you can see here, we do have this this falling wedge that we had going on here, this pattern playing out here. I did actually enter a trade for this, and it was pretty juicy indeed. I did make an 8% trade, and the reason why I took my profit at this point here, and I didn't wait for that measure move to play out to the upside here, because that would have correlated perfectly with this 55 moving average coming down. But the reason why I didn't wait for that is because the RSI had this downwards sloping resistance line that we had to take into account, and that was this point here. We got to that point, I saw the resistance being formed in terms of selling power, and I was like, you know what, I can't see us breaking that anytime soon. And I did believe that measure move to the upside was in a sense a trap, correlating perfectly with the 55. So I took a nice 8% profit. And look, we retraced from there, right? We retraced from there all the way back to entry, potentially even a stop out if you're looking at a very close sort of stop out entry there, right? Now, for the midterm, we have surged to the upside, and we are basically retesting this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. So it's definitely something to consider. If we are to break that and find a nice level of support there, we could be looking at breaking this 55 and surging to the upside, right? Surging to the upside. And then basically coming up to test these lower high zones at around 42, 41, which will correlate perfectly with our long position on the short term we got there for Bitcoin as well. Next target for Bitcoin, I'd say it would be around the 48 zone, and that does correlate perfectly with the middle of the bull market barrier here. Could be a big rejection point for Bitcoin, but at this point in time, the big rejection point I'm thinking about is these lower highs and also the bottom side of this bull market barrier at around 43 as well, right? Definitely things to consider, right? Definitely things to consider when trading Bitcoin on the long term, right? Let me jump to, I think we did ARRR first. Let me do a bit of that. Don't think I've ever looked at this chart though, right? No, are you trolling me? AR tetherers. No, that looks pretty bad. We are setting higher lows though, it's not too bad. Yeah, I can't really, if you guys want to elaborate that, if you want that in the chat, if you can put the chart in, and I'll basically I'll have a look at that for you. But at this point in time, I'm going to do a bit of the old ADA, right? I've got that on my saved, right? Let me do a bit of the ADA. Let's go to the ADA on the long term, right? The ADA on the long term right now. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I am a new YouTuber on the block, new streamer on the block, only been going for around 2 weeks here, so I'm trying to constantly improve. But yeah, hit that thumbs up button if you are liking the stream, helps me out tremendously, right? Got a better accent than your brother. We've got the same accent, man. Got the same accent, man. But yeah, on ADA, sum up for ADA right now. Obviously, we did have this insane crash to the downside, setting those lower lows continuously. We did see a higher low here, and we are seeing that insane surge of buying power to the upside. Obviously, I have said previously, I am pretty bullish on ADA, and I am continuously bullish on ADA because of all the things they're doing in Africa. Really good stuff. If you don't know about that, research that. They've got a really good presentation on YouTube that's definitely worth a watch. As you can see, for this uptrend that we're forming at this point in time, we are setting these higher lows continuously, right? We're setting these higher lows continuously, which is an indication that we're going to keep going up, right? We're going to keep going up, and we're finding a nice level of support on this volume-weighted ATR band that we've got coming down here. It's pretty hard to see. This pink line here, right? This volume-weighted ATR band coming here, correlating perfectly with this 21 moving average as well, and we're seeing that surge of buying power to the upside, which is good, right? Which is very, very good, which is what we need. We need to hold this level. Next target for that is... It's crazy. It's the previous all-time high, right? It's the previous all-time high at around previous all-time high close, right? At around $2.30. Can I see us getting there within the next day or so? Nope. We're going to need a lot more time than that. Otherwise, we're going to hit parabolic, and then we're going to see some sort of big correction from there, right? So at this point in time, we do have these lower highs to think about, and that's the point that we're pretty much testing at this point in time, right? So watch the price for ADA if you're looking at any position for the daily, right? Let's jump to the 4 hourly, the midterm. Obviously, high point here, we've got the volume-weighted ATR band, and that is sitting around $2.30, near enough the all-time high close from before. But as you can see, we have smashed through these coiled up moving averages that we've got here. We have smashed through here. We have found a nice level of support on this 55 and seeing that progression to the upsides. Continuously setting higher lows here, looking very healthy. We do have a lower high being set on the 4 hourly chart here, but we've got 2 hours and 21 minutes to come up and basically smash that through the water and see a surge in the price. If we don't see that, I can see a bit of a trend reversal there, because obviously we are seeing these insane buying powers to the upside from ADA, right? Insane buying powers, 20% to the upside, crazy stuff. You're not going to see that and not see any corrections, right? So we do need that trend reversal, right? We do need that trend reversal, and we do need that, in a sense, consolidation period before we can even think about another leg up. Because if we go parabolic, we're only going to come back down, right? So we don't want to be going parabolic just yet, but we do want to be consolidating for a bit and then seeing that next leg up for ADA. As I said, we do have these pretty crucial lower high points to think about as well for ADA. But yeah, next target to the upside would be this lower high point at around $1.85. So watch out for that point there, because we could see some resistance and some retracement from there. Lowest point in terms of horizontal support, we got one at 150. All hail King Chester. Funny. Yeah, I'll do Matic in a minute. Harsh shit. Harsh shit, right? But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Yeah, ADA right now, I would be looking at a low point of this 55. If we are going to see a retracement in the price, we do have a horizontal support line coming through here at around this 55 moving average at $1.62. Definitely something to consider in terms of a bounce point here. I'm just going to have some water. Oh, H2O, that is good. That's good. We do have on this midterm for ADA this downward sloping resistance line, right? This downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. So if we are going to come up, right? If we are going to see a surge in the price, we're going to come up and potentially test this downward sloping resistance line here, and then we're going to see a retracement in terms of buying power, right? In terms of buying power. So if we are going to come up and test this lower high zone that we've got going on here around 185, I can see us having some sort of retracement from there. It's pretty likely, right? I can see that happening. So yeah, be cautious if we are going to get to this 185 level, because we are going to see probably some sell-off power from there. If we are going to be looking at respecting this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, right? Definitely something to think about, right? Let me jump to Matic, right, as requested. Let me jump to the old Matic as requested. We'll start on the daily. As I was saying a minute ago on Matic, it's looking pretty bullish right now, insanely bullish. The next target would be the all-time high close, which would be $2.45 in terms of a resistance, horizontal resistance point that we're looking to break. Mate, let's see when I send you a bit of change. My main concern is how look-off pattern concerns. Mate, I don't see a way to send you a bit of change. No, it's all right, man. You don't need to send me anything. I'm not really accepting tips at this point in time. I'm more just or just working on my streaming quality, right? I'm working on getting my point across and working on my nerves in a sense, right? Because it's pretty nerve-wracking streaming online, which I'm finding anyway. Obviously, I've only been doing it 2 weeks, so I'm continuously trying to perform. So I'm not in a stage where I can accept donations or anything like that yet. But hopefully, I will be in the future, right? Need 1,000 subs to get to that point, right? But yeah, let me get back to Matic here. As you can see here, the absolute all-time high for Matic is around this $2.44 close that we had on the previous all-time high. This insane surge of buying power that we've seen here for Matic, it just makes me feel even more bullish, right? It makes me feel even more bullish on Matic, setting these high lows continuously to the upside, setting these higher highs all the way up. Very nice stuff indeed. But you have to think, right? You do have to think. We're pretty steep, right? We're pretty steep in the price, right? We're pretty steep in the price, so we do need these consolidation correction points, right? We do need these consolidation correction points. As you can see here, we did see that pretty steep run, consolidation. Now we've seen that steep run again today, as you guys probably know for Matic. And we're likely to see a consolidation period here, right? We're likely to see a consolidation period here before we see a wave up, right? It could be not that long. Could be a few 4-hourly candles or so, because obviously we are seeing that surge of buying power. But at this point in time, crucial point here, this volume weighted ATR band, we are actually finding a level of support on it. So that is an indication that we are going to push to the upside, and we are going to see a test of the previous all-time high close. Ideally, I would love to see a test of the all-time high completely. That would be ideal. And then potentially a nice test of this trend line, setting a new all-time high for Matic. But if we do get to that 2.94 target for Matic in terms of the new all-time high and smashing through previous levels of resistance here, I can see some rejection from there, right? As you can see here, we do have that downwards momentum from this trend line here. As you can see, we did lose it here, and that was obviously part of that massive sell-off, right? So if we do get to this point here at around $2.99, I do see a rejection, potentially testing this previous all-time high close here at around $2.50. So it's definitely something to take into account if you're trading Matic today, right? Definitely something to consider. In terms of the low point, if we do lose this volume-weighted ATR band here, we do have this 21 moving average coming up in here. This 21 moving average coming up here, which we are looking at potential bounce up from there. Definitely something to think about in terms of trading Matic, right? You come across confident, bro. Oh, it means a lot, man. Just trying to speak really fast to try and get the nerves out of the way, right? In terms of the RSI for the Matic right now, we're near enough overextended, right? We're near enough overextended, so that obviously means we are going to see some sort of correction in terms of selling power. So that's definitely something to consider, and that's probably, it's going to correlate perfectly when we come up to that all-time high close, if we can get there within the next 4 to 8 hours or so in terms of the 4-hourly chart on the midterm, right? You're smashing it, bro. Cheers, guys. Means a lot. Means a lot. If you are liking the stream, hit that thumbs up bell. Hit that thumbs up bell. Hit that see, just messed it all up, right? Hit that blue. Turn that thumbs up blue, right? Helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algorithms. And also, guys, I do stream every single day, Monday to Friday, for 1 to 2 hours every morning. I do like to get in a stream on the weekend. Matic is merging with Polygon. Yes, sir, you are correct. Matic is Polygon. But yeah, I do like to get in a stream on the weekends as well. Hopefully I can, but I don't like to make promises. But I do promise Monday to Friday every single morning for a couple of hours at least. So if you don't want to miss one of my uploads or one of my live streams, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads, basically. And also, I do altcoin videos. I do emergency Bitcoin updates, all the cliche crypto things that traders do, right? Yeah, I do all of them. So if you never want to miss my uploads, hit that subscribe button. Right, moving on, right? Sam, Matic is Polygon. Yes, sir, it is. Huge Cardano fan. Yeah, huge Cardano fan too. Cardano Africa. Yes, sir. Let me see what else we've got here. Any questions? Any requests in the chat, guys? Dump some in there. Dump some in there, and I'll do a little TA for you guys there. Can have some more water. Oh god, I've been going for 2 hours and 9 minutes now. God, the streams seem to be getting longer every single day, right? Yeah, obviously no requests in the chat there, so I'm going to jump on to do a bit of Solana, right? Do a little bit of Solana. Jump to the daily on the Solana right now. As you can see, obviously we do have that insane rising wedge on the daily chart there. So if we are looking to come up, that's going to be an insane level of resistance at around $50 there to think about. But obviously before we get there, we do need to smash through these insane, these major moving averages we've got going on here. Currently we're testing the 55 moving average here, and we're finding a bit of resistance there. We broke through and we came back down right on the daily. Sol and ETH, yeah, Solana, yeah, just jump onto Solana right now. It's kind of mad that I picked that and I didn't see a chat. But yeah, so at this point in time, we are seeing a bit of resistance off the 55. Ideally, what we're looking at to see is basically to come up. Our target point is this volume weighted ATR band at around $36 there. That would be the ideal point. And to basically break this price action channel at 37 and 38. So in terms of resistance right now on the daily, we're looking at quite a bit, right? We're looking at quite a bit of resistance on the daily, which is a bit of an indication that we are going to sort of consolidate around this point here. I can't see us surging to the upside anytime soon for Solana on the daily here. But on the positive side of things, we are setting these higher lows continuously. All right, we are setting these higher lows continuously. So as long as we can close nicely above these points here, setting this higher high here, as long as we can close nicely around this point here, even below the 55, I can see the next candle basically pushing up to the top side on the daily, right? In terms of what's happening on the midterm for the old Solana here, next target point is this 55 moving average at $35, right? If we can get a nice level of support on that, I can see us coming up, testing the 200, potentially even wicking to this horizontal resistance point, right? Yeah, this horizontal resistance point. I can't even speak now. This horizontal resistance point, I can see us basically getting to that point, and that would basically be a swift rejection zone for me in terms of Solana. If you are looking at potential long, I would be looking at it over this 55 moving average, potentially up to this resistance point here and this 200 moving average here, but take into account we do need to get over this 55 moving average for that to even be a thing, right? And in terms of a position for that, we're looking at around a 6% trade. So still pretty good, right? Still pretty good. Definitely something to think about. But as I said before, we are continuously setting higher lows here and higher highs in this current trend, right? At this point in time, we haven't set a higher high on this four hourly candle here, so that could basically initiate that we aren't going to find a level of support on this 55 moving average, and we're going to get basically going to get that resistance, right? And that basically means we could have a potential consolidation period around this zone here, potentially even losing the price action channel and coming down and testing this 21 moving average coming up here, right? In terms of what's happening on the RSI at this point in time, we're not overbought, we're not oversold, we're pretty stagnant, we're pretty in the middle, right? So that indicates that we could go either way, right? We could go either way. Ideally, if we do get a nice little way to the upside, find support on the 55, we do actually have the support of the RSI not being overbought right as of yet, right? But it's definitely something to manage in terms of position if you are looking to get in over the 55, looking at this RSI, because if we do get to this overbought stage, we are going to have that retracement in terms of selling power, right? Definitely something to consider. In terms of the MACD right now, we are setting, we've set a higher high on the MACD here in terms of an uptrend, right? And we did have that fizzle out of uptrend, and that was basically this correction that we had going on here. But as you can see, we are still in this uptrend. We haven't had that bearish crossover. We are looking at the progression to the upside, smashing the horizontal resistance points on the MACD here. So it's looking like we are going to progress to the upside. So it's definitely something to watch, because we do have the RSI on our side. We do have the MACD on our side. We just need to smash through this 55. So if you are trading Solana, watch out at that $35.50 mark. $35.50 mark, definitely a point to look at when trading Solana, right? That's pretty much me done for Solana. If we are going to lose that point, I would say we're going to bounce off this 21, but I don't see us coming down to this high low here around 26 anytime soon, unless obviously we have a mass sell off of Bitcoin and a massive panic sell, right? That's obviously the only way that can happen, right? Let me have a little look. The chat here. Can you do XVS? I'll have a little look. What was it? XVS. And guys, if you're liking the stream here, smash that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously, I'm trying to get on the algorithms at this point. For YouTube, obviously, a new stream only me going literally like near enough 2 weeks, potentially like a week and a half. Obviously, this main crash for XVS here, setting those low lows continuously. We are in that progressionary upwards period, setting those higher lows continuously, which is nice. We have seen a curl over in terms of higher highs in terms of the uptrend here. Ideally, right now, what you want for this is to come up and break this 200 moving average, find a nice level of support, and set a nice confident higher high if you are looking at that continuation of an uptrend, right? If we aren't going to set that, I would be looking at a potential consolidation period. I can't see us really coming down right now, to be honest. If we were going to come down, we would have seen some insane resistance off this 200 here, which it's there, but it's not pushing you right down. You're not setting we are setting a lower high here, but it's not really that congruent, right? It's not that congruent, and you're not really seeing that downward selling pressure. But it's definitely something to think about if we don't clear that 200 and we don't set a higher high on the daily time frame there. In terms of the 4 hour for this, your target point would be to get over this to get over this price action channel here, and that is around $41.08. So it's definitely a price point to watch, not too far away at all. And as I was just saying a second ago, we are seeing those higher highs. We have seen that lower high here on the 4-hourly time frame, but we have seen a nice bounce on this level of support at around $37.60, right? We have seen that bounce point there, so that's definitely something to consider. In terms of upwards buying power, if we are to bounce from that point up to this price action channel, ideally what you want is to clear this price action channel and look for a target on this 55, which is set at around $50 there. In terms of percentage for that, if you are to clear that, you're looking at literally like a 20% jump there, which is it's likely to happen, but as you can see here, we have seen this surge in buying power, right? We've seen this surge in buying power in terms of percentage from this high low that was set here. We have seen a surge in buying power of around 30%. So in my opinion right now, we're probably not going to break this price action channel here. We're probably going to consolidate for a bit before we are going to see another leg up, because you're not just going to see insane buying power to the upside like that, right? You are going to see these corrections coming through. And it needs to come through like that for it to be healthy, right? Otherwise, you're going to go parabolic, and then you're gonna literally come up parabolic, test some sort of level of resistance like this, and then just absolutely dump off a cliff like that. And that's not what anyone wants, right? That's not what anyone wants at all. We need that healthy uptrend, right? We want those healthy uptrends. But yeah, top target, I'd say, is this 55 moving average here. It's $50. Next target would be at around $59 there as well, right? Let me have a little look. Yeah, it's the Cardano Africa video for you there, Dylan. Why such how are your candles red and white? Right, let me do a little bit of an explanation on that. Right, I'm going to jump to Ethereum for that right now. As you can see here, let me get rid of my moving averages here. Moving averages here. We'll get rid of the volume weighted ATR bands as well, right? As you can see here, we do have a price action channel, right? This price action channel is made up of all of the moving average, well, not all of the moving averages, all the major moving averages put together, right? The 21, the 55, the 200, the 10, right? So all the major moving averages that I've got on my chart here, as you can see up here, it's basically an average of all of them put together. So if we're above it, the candles are blue, right? We're above it, the candles are blue, we're in an uptrend. If we're below it, the candles are red, we're in a downtrend, right? And that's basically why my candles are red or blue. If we're above it, as you can see here, we're in an uptrend. Could be a potential trade position there to basically go all the way up. If we were to enter a trade looking like something like this, right, we would obviously get on the retest. We could be looking at literally a 50% gain there, and that's why I have there. Gives me basically an indication whether we're going to be in an uptrend or whether we're going to be in a downtrend. As you can see for Ethereum right now, we have just entered an uptrend, right? We have just entered an uptrend. We have that consolidation period around the price action channel, and then we basically enter that uptrend, and that basically is a sign that we are potentially going to come back down, test this price action channel, and then progress further from there because the candles are blue. Pretty looks basically pretty simple, right? It looks pretty simple, right? But as you can see here, the price action channel it's just heavily respected, right? It's heavily respected in terms of coming back down to it, testing it, finding that support, or finding that resistance to the downside, right? Definitely, it's a great indicator, right? It's a great indicator. It is one of Bitcoin Beats' indicators, I must say, there, and you guys probably know that yourselves, right? But yeah, as you can see here, for Ethereum, right, let me do some ARR, mate. Yeah, I did try and find ARRR, but I couldn't find anything on TradingView. So if you know the chart for that, hit me up with that, and I'll do a TA on that for you if I can find it, right? Do you use fib levels? No, I don't actually use fib levels. I actually use major pivot points. As you can see here, let me bring them up on my chart. And that's like the daily pivot point, weekly pivot point, and monthly pivot point. And it's basically the Fibonacci levels plotted into pivot points with this indicator, right? And as you can see here, we take profit at all these different pivot points if we are entering certain trades, right? So as you can see, literally, like, it does pretty much respect them, right? It does pretty much respect them in terms of pivot points. So I do prefer using these instead of Fibonacci levels themselves. I know a lot of people do use Fibonacci themselves, and it's pretty effective. But there's many different ways you can draw Fibonacci. And for me, it's plotted out for me, right? It's plotted out for me. So yeah, I use these instead. But yeah, BNB please, bruv. Yes sir, yes sir. Bit of BNB, love BNB. Yeah, so BNB right now, let me get rid of these pivot points because it does make the chart very crowded and pretty messy indeed, right? I do like the monthlies on there because that does show us pretty significant points of resistance and support, right? But yeah, so let's go to BNB right now. On the long term, as you can see, the level of support that we have just bounced from is around 335. I'm sure a lot of you know that BNB holders, we have seen that insane pump to the upside right now. We are setting that higher high here, setting those higher lows continuously to the upside. So that's a signal that we are basically continuing this uptrend, potentially looking at a target of around 438 there for BNB. I mean, BNB was literally trading literally near enough 700, right? Near enough tap 700 there. Crazy, crazy stuff for BNB. And I do have insane high hopes for BNB, right? Very bullish on BNB in the long term, right? In terms of hodling right now. So a target right now for BNB would be around 437, so it's definitely something to think about. And we do have, obviously, these major moving averages coming down as well. We've got the 21, which is this yellow one here. We've got the 55, which is this green one here. So we are going to potentially see some level of resistance from there as well, right? So I can see us potentially coming up, hitting this target here around 437, around that sort of mark, and then seeing some sort of rejection from there, potentially correlating perfectly with these lower highs being set on that massive downwards downtrend that we had there. That obviously that massive panic sell-off that happened in crypto, right? All right, sorry for asking for ARR. Yeah, not a problem, man. Not a problem at all. But yeah, so target point, I would be looking at 438 there. Absolute low, if we are to see a reversal in the trend on the daily here, I would be seeing the low here being around this 200 moving average here, around 282. But in my opinion, I don't think we're getting there anytime soon. Not with this insane surge of buying power to the upside, unless Bitcoin decides to absolutely fall off a cliff, because obviously that is the leader in the market, right? Hopefully, if we do see a reversal in the trend and we do see these higher highs fizzle out, and we do see basically a reversal and these lower highs get formed, I would like to see a bounce off this point here at about 334. That would be the ideal scenario, right? A bounce off there and then the continuation to the upside. And you do have to think, since we saw that absolute low, we have literally pumped 81% in the space of literally, like 3 or 4 days. So it's like, you do need to take into account that we are likely to pull back pretty soon, right? We aren't just going to keep going up. We aren't just going to keep going up. Obviously, there is a lot of buying power to the upside here, but we aren't just going to keep going up. It's pretty impossible for that to happen without an insane correction. Without an insane correction there. So let me jump to the 4 hour here for BNB. In terms of what's happening on the 4 hour right now, we are actually finding a nice level of support on this 55 moving average here. So if we do find a nice level of support on there and we don't actually hit that resistance and come down to the price action channel around 350, I would be looking at a target for around 431, which does correlate with the long term as well, right? In terms of that volume weighted ATR band on the long term. If we can come up to that point at that 430 there, we do need to clear these lower highs that were set. We do need to clear these lower high points that were set on this insane downtrend here. That is going to be pretty crucial, and it's pretty crucial for Bitcoin, right? So it's definitely something to take into account. As you can see, if we do clear that, we are going to be looking at that move to the upside. But target point at this point in time, for me, would be that 400 mark. And we know when we hit those rounded digits, we do see a bit of selling power from there, because that's obviously the common place to put your limit order, right? It's a common place to put your limit order. So definitely a point to watch around that 400 mark. If we can clear that, very nice indeed. Target up to 432 from there. If we are to see that reversal in the trend, as you can see, this higher high is fizzling out a bit right now. It is fizzling about. We are still getting that higher low there, but it is fizzling out a bit. And if we do lose this 55, I would see us basically coming down to around this 350 mark and potentially having a nice bounce from that price action channel there. And if we are to lose this price action channel on the basis that we do have a pretty big sell-off here, I'm looking for a bounce on this 200 there, not 200, on this 21 here. And worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario, we do see a big reversal. This volume weighted ATR band that we've got coming down here, this green one, that is, it's pretty crucial, right? It's pretty crucial for a bounce point, right? It's pretty crucial for a bounce point in terms of the price, right? So I would be looking for a potential long there, right? In terms of like here, right? We came down, we bounced straight off it. In terms of a long position for that, we would have been looking right now, probably coming up to the price action channel. I wouldn't have come up all the way to the 55 here. As you can see, we do have this resistance point here to get over in terms of the previous trend, right? So in terms of a trade for that, I would have been looking at around potentially like a 13 to 15% trade there. Very nice indeed, right? And that's pretty much BNB summed up in terms of targets, what you were looking for. Crucial point to look out for, I would be looking at this 55 moving average to clear that in the next 2 hours or so on the 4 hourly chart here, right? And you do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI to think about as well, right? If you do come down and you find a level of support here, you could be looking at a nice bounce to the upside in terms of buying power, right? In terms of buying power, you would be looking at a bounce to the upside, right? Which would be pretty nice, right? Would be pretty nice, but that does, in a sense, indicate that we are going to lose the We are going to lose the 55 for now. We're going to lose the 55 for now in terms of selling power on the RSI, and then we're going to bounce. And then we're going to bounce from there, potentially smashing through the 55 without a sign in the world. Getting to this point here, getting to this target of 432 here, and then we're going to get to that overbought point, and then we're going to see that retracement from there. It's definitely a few things to think about there for BNB, right? Hopefully I'll sum that up for you well, guys. If you're liking the stream, guys, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, new guy on the block and all that. I've nearly been streaming for 2 weeks now. Crazy stuff. Obviously trying to get my confidence up and get my point across properly, right? So it does help me out when you click that thumbs up and turn that thumbs up blue, because obviously it's pretty hard to get on these YouTube algorithms, right? And guys, if you're liking the stream and you want to be doing this with me every single day, Monday to Friday, for 1 to 2 hours every single morning. I have been going for 2 hours and 25 minutes now. Pretty insane stuff. I did a 3-hour stream the other day and absolutely killed me, so I will be rounding off the stream pretty soon. I do release a crypto video in the day as well. So be tuned in for that, guys. If you never want to miss my uploads, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. It's simple as that, right? But yeah, I will be. What hobbies do you have besides crypto? I actually quite like street style, right? I like fashion. I like fashion. But at this point in time, trading and crypto it's just kind of swallowed me up, right? It's just swallowed me up, swallowed all my time. And I guess another hobby that I'm looking at now is content creation, right? Content creation, because it's all right being a trader and stuff, because I love doing that, and that's why I do this. But content creation is a thing which I'm heavily getting into. I've been into it for like a few years and stuff, but not really on this streaming level, right? Which is something that I'm trying to master. So I guess hobby-wise, content creation is something as well. I'm just a creative at heart, right? I'm creative at heart, but I do love trading, and I'm a cold hard entrepreneur. And I just love money. Just love money, right? Yeah, I'm gonna round up the stream very soon. I did see Theta get called out there, so I might do a little bit on Theta quickly for Tom. Bro, your live stream is solid. Feels like you're a natural. Oh, thank you, bro. It means a lot. Definitely means a lot. I have been. You should see me at the start of streams. I'm like pretty nervous, right? Pretty nervous indeed. But yeah, getting there. Obviously, only 2 weeks in, so I do have a long way to go. But yeah, I do appreciate the kind words there, because obviously I'm prepping for that hate that's going to come in with this, right? Prepping for that hate. On the daily chart for Theta, right, as you can see here, we did obviously see that insane dump. We are seeing these high lows getting set, primarily with most of the charts. I'm just going to have some water here quickly. Oh, and that's the end of the H2O for me in terms of that pint. But yeah, as you can see here, the high lows are being set continuously in terms of this new trend that we've got forming on the daily here for Theta. We do have this 21 moving average coming down here, which we've claimed. We've not found that resistance. We're pumping to the upside, and we're looking at coming up to test this 21. In terms of a price target for that 21 on the daily, we're looking at around that $8.38 there. Very good target to look at. In terms of higher highs being set, we are setting higher highs. Yeah, higher highs being set on this side, and higher lows being set on that side as well. In terms of a bottom, if we are going to reverse in price, I would be looking at a potential bounce off this 10 moving average that we've got coming down here. Obviously, the 10 isn't the strongest in the world, so next point of bounce would be at this 200 moving average here. I mean, just looking at this here, I can see a bit of a symmetrical triangle playing out in terms of the daily, right? So it would be a bit more congruent on the shorter time frames. More of a descending triangle, right? More of a descending triangle playing out here. On this time frame that we got going on here. So it's definitely something to consider if we are looking to come down on some sort of like retrace, right? If we come down some sort of retrace, we could be looking at some sort of bounce from there. But as I can see here on the I'm on the wrong chart, that's why it's not got anything on, right? It's on my Bitcoin chart. But yeah, as you can see here, if we are looking to come down, we've obviously got these major moving averages to think about, right? We've always got these major moving averages to think about in terms of like this 55 moving average here, this price action channel, the 10, the 21. But yeah, if we are gonna basically lose them, not find support on them, I'd say the bounce point would be at the trend, this major trend line at this descending triangle here, looking at a bounce point from there on the 4 hourly. At this point in time, right? At this point in time, let's get rid of that for now. I would be looking at a price target on the short term for the midterm for around this $8 and $8.12 around that point. And as you can see, it does correlate pretty well with this lower high created on that massive sell-off that we had there. So it's a pretty crucial point for Theta right now. In terms of if we do break that, nice target up here is the 200 moving average here. Definitely one to consider, considering we do tap it and we do find a nice level of support on it if we are to ride along it. So it's definitely a point that we need to consider here, and that is around $9.26 in terms of a target there for Theta. And yeah, that pretty much sums up Theta. Absolute bottom, if I see us coming down, would be this volume weighted ATR band here and seeing some sort of consolidation period around that and potentially a bounce, and you do have this level of support before we hit that, which is pretty crucial, as that was the previous low, well, not the previous, yeah, the previous low, the previous low candle close, right? So it's definitely a point of support to think about, right? Guys, I am going to round up the stream there because I am pretty tired, right? I'm pretty tired. I will potentially getting in another stream today. I probably just got to have a coffee and got to relax a bit because, yeah, it's obviously first few times doing this and stuff. But yeah, thank you all guys for being here, and smash that like button if you like the stream. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue, trying to get on these YouTube algos. And yeah, I will do a stream later on today because I am really enjoying myself and it is fun, and I do like educating some newbie traders and stuff like that and getting my point across. But yeah, guys, if you like the stream, hit that subscribe button. Helps me out tremendously. And that notification bell if you never want to miss one of my uploads. I do altcoin videos, emergency Bitcoin videos. I do a daily stream 1 to 2 times a day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours as well. So yeah, if you never want to miss my uploads, live streams, or any of that good stuff there, hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button, guys. But yeah, that's going to be me running off the stream, guys. Thank you ever so much for being here. Really appreciate it a lot. And we are sat at 26 viewers, which is just amazing. Absolutely amazing, right? It might not seem a lot to you guys because obviously you tune into streams with like a few thousand people or something like that. But to me, 26 people, that's absolutely crazy, right? Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. It's peace out from me, Crypto Chester.